you don't need to read the notes. There's a thing called tablature where it will tell you the string and the number of the fret.
Right.
He didn't understand that, and I did. And it's funny, as I'm not a guitar player, I'm a drummer, but I was showing him like you go 3 3 2 2, you know, and then show him the rhythm. And it was just kind of funny, dude. The guy didn't understand how to read it, but once I showed it to him, he got it. And then that was kind of neat, you know, a drummer teaching a guitar player how to read guitar music.
Pretty neat.
You
So, how long have you been? How long? When did you start learning to drum? First of all, and what made you want to do that?
Well, when I first wanted to do the drums, I heard this rock and roll music called Aerosmith and Motley Crue and Guns N' Roses and that kind of thing, Kiss. And I was a fan of this, the Van Halen. I think I got a record collection. Uncle found a record collection out of a dumpster, gave it to me for like a 6th or 7th grade birthday. And I just started jamming to all these 70s and 80s rock tunes. And this is the late 80s, early 90s, mind you. So I'm probably about 10 years behind the times in my musical selection. But I started, you know, fell in with other kids that were into rock and roll, you know, tapping on buckets with wooden spoons and things. And next thing you know, I think it was 7th grade, my dad got me a drum set, and I was just self-taught, playing along to like Rush albums and things. Not very well, mind you, because I didn't know what I was doing. And then eventually I got good enough at it to where we got some drum lessons in high school, and I joined the marching band.
Okay.
What was real funny, here's a real funny story for you. When I first got into the marching band, they wouldn't let me play the drums. They had too many drummers. So they gave me a clarinet, and I sucked at this clarinet. And I didn't want to be in the band anymore. So what I did is I tried to play the clarinet like in the most irritating way possible. So I would like hit the wrong notes and just blow real hard. And I just like while we were in the practice, and I would irritate everybody around me, and they were about to kick me out. And then the guy said, you know, this isn't for you and this isn't working. We're going to move you on to another class. And then I was like, well, you know, honestly, I'm not a clarinet player. I'm a drummer. And then he's like, well, play some drums for me then. And he handed me some sticks, do a drum roll. I didn't even know how to do a drum roll. I just tried one. And then he's like, okay, fine, you're a drummer. And then I finally started getting some lessons.
Cool. Well, what'd you pick up this week, man?
I'm sorry?
What'd you pick up this week?
Oh, what I pick up? Big Bad hit me, and I got Cartoon Stratos here.
That's pretty cool.
This thing's pretty cool. And quite honestly, I haven't bought any of these cartoon ones, and I only bought this because you know me, I wanted those red wings and that blue jetpack.
I like
and
that.
So I was gonna. When he's got the staff of Avion in there too, and so I was gonna basically strip him of his parts, and then my original plan was strip him of his parts, throw the figure away, and then put the parts on the Origins figure. But now I kind of like it. Now I'm thinking I might buy some of these.
It's gonna get you started. Hey, Lyric, what's going on, man?
How about you give him the Stratos from the cartoon to me?
You know what? If you want the cartoon Stratos, you probably have them. Unless I decide to start collecting those and keep them.
I have. Well, the quality is fading.
Well, that's just the way the Video Ninja is sometimes.
Oh, okay.
Then I also got Bleach here. I know you're not a fan of Masterverse, but I really like them, and I really like.
I noticed he's in Princess of Power packaging.
Right, and I really like the new packaging. At first, they started doing the windowless, which nobody liked, and then they brought the window back, but kind of limited, and then they kind of, you know, added some artwork. I think these really pop. These are really cool. And what's neat, on the top here, there's a spot where you could put all the accessories in, and you could. I like it, as you can see on the wall behind me. I like putting the toy back in the package and hanging them on the wall. And then got Cyclone here, which just got him for Origins and didn't open them too, but.
I opened one of my Origin Cyclones, put them all together. I think I did a stream or something with him on it. Maybe one of those Sunday hangouts that I do sometimes.
Oh, sure.
Yeah. I got I got all this stuff from Gochutron, man. I really need to open it up sometime. I got that barbecue grill. That's pretty cool, isn't it?
Yeah. Those little miniatures and pieces can go good with some of the other stuff you got.
Well, you know, I got the refrigerator too. Now I've already got a nasty looking refrigerator, but maybe I can use some of the stuff in this with that, or vice versa. Sure. And then you can put some of those miniature stuff from the mini brands can go in there as well.
Sure.
And then he also sent me the popcorn stand.
Right.
And that would be cool.
Looks like it came right out of the 70s, that refrigerator.
Yeah, it does. I mean, it looks like grandma's refrigerator. You know, them old yellow looking ones that set in the corner.
Well, those suckers never die, dude. That's like one of those ones that like the family has it for like 55 years and it never stops working. They just throw it away anyway.
Yeah.
Like Jen's grandmother's got a microwave they bought in the 80s. It still works.
You know, that was pretty cool. And then was it Monday? I wasn't expecting these packages to come in until Tuesday. But Monday I got the Gochutron's package, and I got the package from Todd McFarlane. Now, Nightwing had sent me, he told me he had sent me a package with the Blue Beetle bug in it, and it was supposed to have gotten here before the McFarlane set did, right? Well, it got up there in Memphis, and it got stuck in the hub up there. Well, it came today. I got that package from Nightwing today.
So now you can do a video or something.
Yeah, I can do an opening video, you know, showing Nightwing and shout him out, you know.
Sure. Yeah, no, he's a good fellow. Yeah, that guy's usually in our live streams and whatnot. He's a good person.
Yeah, man, all my chatters are good, man. I got the best little tight knit group that you could ever hope for here. And
we really do. There are a lot of loyal people that come in every time we go.
It is. Yeah. You know, if we were to go live right now, I bet they would show up. What do you think?
I'm sure.
Oh yeah,
usually it's just cold. Don't even announce it. Just pop on.
Yeah, just pop on out of nowhere, and then they would just show up. It would be kind of cool. We ought to try that sometime.
Be fun.
Yeah, it would. You know, I'm not going to be able to be here on Sunday, so I'm not going to do a Sunday hangout. My wife's got a thing she's doing over at the church. I want to be there for it.
Well, yeah, their family's more important anyway. I mean, like, I don't want to get into it now in lyric listening, but we got some drama with my stepdaughter, and you know, family's most important, you know, and I got my in-laws coming tomorrow night. You know, we're gonna grill out a little, but
well,
I should
you know,
without
getting any details, I will say that I had approached my wife, you know, because she's off today. When I got home from work, I said, you know, we may have to scrape up some bail money.
Yeah, I'll tell you what. Luckily, it didn't come to that.
Yeah.
Because you know what? I mean, one of the reasons why my wife loved me and married me so much, I'm very protective of those that are mine and that I love and that are family. And this guy, you don't mess with somebody's daughter.
No,
you know.
Man. No.
Yeah, I did. I did message a couple people and say, if I talk to this guy, this might not end well. So let's maybe I don't talk to this guy.
Sometimes you don't have to talk to him. Sometimes you stare at him.
But and that's kind of how it all worked out. It didn't have to come to that, you know. And then hopefully things just get better and the drama stays where it belongs, nowhere.
Yeah, you know, all we can do is cross our fingers.
Well, I'm getting too old for this, but I mean, just because I'm getting too old to fight don't mean I won't.
I probably need to get some coffee. I don't know how long we're going to stick around and chat together. You know, it's been a long time since you and I just sat down and just talked for a minute, you know. Hey, Paula! Will you do me a favor, please? I would appreciate it if you would bring me a bottle of water and a couple of coffees. Thank you.
Nice. Yeah.
She said maybe. I don't know if you hear it.
Yeah, that's typical wife answer. You know. With me and the missus, we just had to hit the bank, sign some papers. You know, we did I'll have to get into too much detail. We did a home equity loan so we can do some additions and some added improvements on the house. Might even throw a greenhouse up in the yard because she's doing good with her little plant business on the side. She wants to be a flower lady. And I think, I mean, follow your dreams, man. I mean, she does pretty good at the work she does now, but her heart is in the gardening and doing the flowers. She's like, man, we're doing okay. Let's build the stuff, and I'm advancing my comic and toy business, and I mean, yeah, we've got some funds spread, but we're also making our payments, and so I mean, expand, try to push the dream. Hey, Paul, how you doing?
Oh, how many you want?
I was wanting about 2 or 3, so in case I want to make another cup. Thanks, baby. Yeah, I'm gonna get the coffee maker going here because sometimes when you and I sit down and chat, it can go for a while.
Right. Well, I mean, it's fun to talk to a fella that's into the same kind of nonsense I'm into,
You pick up any new comics this week?
I didn't. Well, I got that Dick Tracy. I don't know if I told you about that.
That was the collected album that you got off of eBay here recently.
No, I got that too, but I got the new one. Let's pull it out here. Oh, not that. Yeah, we got them carded ones. He knows that.
Me and Jones were just chatting together.
No, there's somebody else in the room.
That's Lyric. Lyric, say hello to Miss Paula.
Son. Hey, how are you? Hey.
That's my youngest. Hello. That's my youngest. He's playing on his video games and whatnot. And we went out and went to the store. But I got this. There's that new Dick Tracy.
Okay. What you watching? What are you watching? Outlander. Okay. You ever heard of Outlander?
No, I've never watched that. I don't know if I
She
know
watches
that
that stuff on Netflix. That's the only streaming service that I kept. I got rid of everything else. And I was going to get rid of Netflix, and then I found out that she watches all this junk on Netflix all the time. So I thought, well...
Yeah, my wife does too. A lot of what my wife watches is like the ladies doing real estate or the people blind dating in the bubble and like them kind of girly shows that I don't really.
She likes to watch like what is it called, Cake Boss or some crap like
there
that.
There you go.
Some
yeah.
cooking crap. I don't know.
Some of the stuff that me and my wife like to watch together, we'll watch anything Gordon Ramsay, like Kitchen Nightmares, or for whatever reason we like watching Gordon Ramsay yell at people, and we'll watch. It's raw. He's seen it once or twice.
Right.
We'll watch My Strange Addiction, which is kind of funny, watching people eating toilet paper or having a relationship with their car.
I've seen stuff like that. I think I saw that show, and it was some woman. She wanted to eat dirt all the time. I mean, it was like, okay.
Well, some of these people get into this stuff and it's like hurting them. Like the one lady was eating her mattress. She was taking the stuffing out of the mattress or the couch and eating it. And she'd been doing it for years. And she's just ripping up her insides. And
I can only imagine. I imagine she probably had some kind of giant bezoar down there in her stomach.
They were like, you could get blocked up and die or have surgery. And, it's like, of course, she's still doing it.
You know what a bezoar is?
I don't.
Okay, it's a foreign object that builds up inside of one's stomach. A lot of times it's ladies that would get these bezoars, especially the ones with really, really long hair. Because what they do is they'll twist the ends of their hair and then suck on it.
Ooh.
And then the hair will build up into their stomach into a big knot like this right here called a bezoar. They're supposed to have magical properties. You can get one out. I learned that from reading the Sandman comic books.
I got some of those. I never got into that. I never read any of that. Everybody told me, you got to read Sandman. You got to read Sandman, especially the original run.
The original run is collected. I've got it over here in graphic novel form. I never got into it when it came out in comic book form. So I was SOL So, everybody was telling me to read it, and this was back,
Right.
I want to say back late 80s, early 90s.
Right. Yep.
And that's when these graphic novels came out, and I got them instead, and it was just as good a read, I think.
And those issues go through my hands all the time. Not as much anymore. But I because my problem is if I'm not into it, I don't see the value in it as an investment piece. So I probably had Sandman #1 and like a lot of the key issues in that early run that people want, and I just flip them and move them through, because if I don't care about it or I'm not into it, then I don't keep it. I don't see it. It's just money to me, and I just move it around. And looking back on that now, it's like, oh, probably how many times that's gone through my hands. I probably should have held on to one.
Yeah. Well, the thing about comics is you don't really know anything about a comic. It won't mean anything to you. Then suddenly you start reading it, and it'll start drawing you in. Can you tell me a comic that recently did that to you?
Yeah, actually, Moon Knight had a newer run a couple years ago, maybe even a little bit before the show came out on Disney Plus, and they revamped him or rebooted him into Marvel Comics. And I just saw the cover, and I thought, hey, Moon Knight #1. It's usually not a bad idea to pick up a #1 and hold on to it and see what happens. And then I read it, and then I went and called the shop and added it to my pull list. And I think I got like the first 20 issues or whatever. I couldn't put it down. And then it was almost perfect timing, because I think 12, 15 issues into it, the Disney Plus show came out, which wasn't as good, but it was okay. But I was never a Moon Knight guy, never a Moon Knight fan, but the artwork in it, the story in it was just compelling, and I was interested. What was neat is it wasn't even really Moon Knight himself that really drew me in so much. Is there was a subplot going on where there are some vampires, and in the very first issue, these vampires attack these people, and what these vampires were getting into was they were turning innocent people into vampires and then torturing them and making them want to hunt and mess with their friends. And it was like, and so Moon Knight takes these vampires out, and then there's this gal who was turned, and he's kind of faced with, well, I probably need to put her down. And then he doesn't, and he tries to help her cope and deal with it. And it was a neat little subplot, and it was kind of nice to show the vicious Moon Knight had a heart in there somewhere. And it was a pretty neat little backstory in it, and it was fun. And it was neat watching. They have this villain. I was a Sleepwalker guy, very obscure character, and he had a stupid villain called 8-Ball. It was kind of a joke, and they kept the villain alive, where he would kind of show up in other comics like Spider-Man, and he'd be there with like a panel, and then Spider-Man beat him in a second. He was kind of a running gag in Marvel, and Moon Knight kind of has a reputation for being ultra vicious, and I guess there's one villain, he like peeled his face off or whatever. As soon as he sees 8-Ball, and then Moon Knight comes jumping down, 8-Ball just immediately drops all his weapons, surrenders, throws himself on the ground. It's like, please don't hurt my face off. I'm sorry. It was just kind of funny to watch that. But yeah, that was a book I didn't expect that I would get into, that I kind of got into and read.
You talking about Moon Knight. My first real foray with Moon Knight, to be honest with you, was the Disney Plus series, which I remember seeing Moon Knight occasionally as a cameo in, like, say, Spider-Man. So Spider-Man's swinging through the city, and you'll see Moon Knight going overhead, hanging out of whatever that is, his ship or whatever. And I thought for the longest time that Moon Knight was Marvel's Batman ripoff.
Kind of, but not really. They had him more fighting like supernatural characters a lot of times. So I think he started off in the Werewolf by Night comic, fighting the werewolf by night. And I think that was the original thing. Moon Knight had the silver weapons, and the werewolf would be hurt by the silver. And like most cool characters like Moon Knight or the Punisher, or they start off as a villain in someone else's book, and then they become popular and get their own rub. But
well, let me ask you this. Talking about Moon Knight now. Now Moon Knight, once again, I thought he was a Batman ripoff, but I thought that they were really making fun of Batman with it, because his alter ego, or whoever he is when he's not Moon Knight, and Moon Knight actually are separate personalities. Like
it's actually like they've messed with that further, where there's 3 of them. So there's Mark Spector, there's Stephen Grant, I think, and then there's Jake Lockley. And so Moon Knight has dissociative disorder. So he almost has these full other personalities, who almost have these full, complete other lives that, you know, he certain aspects of it might not even be aware of. And I did think that the Disney Plus show kind of played on that quite beautifully. In fact, that was probably the better part of the Disney Plus show, and the parts where Moon Knight showed up wasn't really as entertaining or as done as much as it could have been. It was really more focused, and Oscar Isaacs really nailed that multiple personality thing, because when he was Stephen Grant, he was very much a different person than when all of a sudden Mark Spector comes out of him. And then, you know, then they even played it into the Moon Knight costume, where he would turn into different kind of costumes.
That one that would just kill them all.
Oh, sure. Yeah, Lyric liked watching some of that with me too. And,
okay. Well, you know, they're coming out with a new. I don't want to say it's a sequel to WandaVision, because it's really not. But
right.
It's a new Vision series on there that's going to, I guess, follow the new White Vision that showed up at the end of WandaVision.
You know, I didn't watch WandaVision, and I heard it was good, but I didn't.
Parts of it were good. Parts of it were good. I think it was going to lead somewhere, but they changed a couple things, because it was supposed to lead directly into Multiverse of Madness, and Doctor Strange was supposed to show up at the very end of WandaVision, and then they decided, oh no, we can't have Doctor Strange, a white man, show up in there, so let's do something totally different. And they didn't, and it didn't make any sense then, as opposed to what happened in Multiverse of Madness, which I did watch, which I did not like at all. Some people did. If you did, hey, whatever. I don't care.
I didn't see it.
I
think I saw parts of it. My kids were watching it as I was doing the dishes and folding laundry and going in other rooms, and I walked through, and I think my son called me in when Reed Richards from the Fantastic Four popped in for a cup of coffee and that. Yeah, because he knew I'm a Fantastic Four guy. He's like, oh, no, they got your guy. You know, and so I came out there and I saw Reed Richards, but I don't think he was in it for very long. And
no, it was a play. What is it? They did that in the comic where all the big brains of the Marvel universe came together, and
the Illuminati. The Illuminati.
Yeah, that's what they was. They had Charles Xavier was there in his wheelchair, and they played a snippet of the X-Men music, and they had Reed Richards from the Fantastic Four in there, and somebody else I can't remember.
Yeah, probably Namor. I can't remember who else was in the Illuminati in the comics.
Well, they didn't have Namor in there.
Yeah.
They didn't have him.
I always call it. You know what? That's a funny thing that I like that you just touched on there with Namor or Namor. People always said things or understood things different because it's comics and it's text. So you grew up pronouncing it how you and your group of friends grew up pronouncing it wherever you were from. And some other people's, with some's Magnetos were Magnetos.
Right.
You know what I mean?
If I ever told you what I call the well, I almost called him what I call him. Yeah, he's a submariner, Jack. We've all called him the submariner. But then we found out that you're supposed to say submariner. But we always call him
I always said submariner. But I never said Magneto. But or even like in certain versions for X-Men, they had the M-Cron crystal, or some people call it the Macran crystal from the Phoenix Saga. So you got like different pronunciations of different iconic characters, you know, which was kind of funny.
Mm-hmm.
Or Kazar or Kazar, you know.
Speaking of which, that is sitting on my pile of loot right now.
Kazar
the Savage.
You were gonna make him like a Savage He-Man, right? Hey,
Maybe.
turn that down, buddy.
I know. I was going to steal a lot of his bits and bobs, like his spear and all that crap.
Right.
Maybe even his feet.
You know, I wanted to get that, but I don't want to have Kazar and not have Zabu. And
Yeah,
I didn't
well,
want
you
to
get
buy
that. You got to
all
get
them.
all of them, man. That's the way they
Right,
get you,
I didn't
man.
buy all those other figures.
Yeah, you got to build a figure crap. You got to get all that shit.
Don't play on that. Yeah, I didn't want to mess with all that. If I do decide to get Kazar and then get Zabu, I'll probably have to go on eBay and pay the big boy price for Zabu.
Right, right.
You know, and that's just a thing too. Like they had Super Skrull for Marvel Legends, which I wanted to get Super Skrull, but then I see it's a Build-A-Figure, so I had to. If I want him, I gotta.
I remember way back. You remember when Toy Biz was doing the Marvel Legends before the what was it? Mattel, Hasbro.
Yeah, and I wasn't buying them then, but I am aware of that.
Well, I wasn't either, but my daughter wanted the X-Men and the Fantastic Four and that kind of stuff, because those movies were coming out then.
Right.
And I remember she was doing the War Machine Build-A-Figure.
Okay.
The Build-A-Figure for that was Galactus. So it had the War Machine was the only one we never could find. So we had everything for Galactus except one part, whatever that was. It came with War Machine.
Was it like his leg or his arm or probably something like vital, of course?
Yeah. And so we were like, she was beside herself,
right?
And she wanted that Galactus really bad. So I went to the Evil Bay and got it for her at a premium price, of course.
Sure. Yeah.
And then we built the Galactus, and it stayed in her room for the longest time, and then she came and got her Galactus, and now it's no longer there, and I want it back, but it's not mine.
Yeah, if I remember right, that Galactus was sized more like his original appearance, where it wasn't like super huge, you know, he was more of just a big guy.
He was just a big figure, but it was fine for what it was. What you playing like?
What are you playing?
No, I mean, what was you acting like?
Oh, he's probably trying to beat Galactus.
Oh yeah, okay. Hungry.
The devourer of worlds.
I'm hungry. All right.
We watched me and him watched the 60s Hanna-Barbera Fantastic Fours.
Those are good.
Which, I really like those. I got a bootleg copy of them. I'd like to get one that's got better audio, no watermark and all that.
Yeah.
But, you know, I'm happy to have it at all. Now some fellas got them all uploaded on YouTube with a TV screen in there. I don't know how they skirt around that, but he did, and I've been watching.
He's probably copyright ID'd, which that doesn't mean that you're struck, and it means that they're letting you do it, and they're asserting their copyright rights, but they're not striking you, which means, but they could in the future if they wanted to. That's what I've come across in my forays in amongst this. You know, I skirt that line pretty close.
Right. You know, and I was putting together, you know, kind of like little commercial blocks like you do, or little snippets of other videos and things, and working with OBS and trying to screen grab a lot of this stuff or whatever I was trying to do. And I did about 2.5 hours worth of work, and then I found out I was recording a black screen.
That can happen to you if you don't realize what you're doing with OBS. I do it a different way. I think I told you about that. You know.
Yeah, you did. And you know, it's a learning curve, so I like messing with it. I think I'm eventually going to do some live streams of my own, but
you were going to live stream tonight, and we were going to. I think I was going to kind of hang out in the chat and stuff. Have you decided you weren't going to do that?
Yeah, I don't know. I just kind of like chilling and talking now for the moment, to be honest with you. But
yeah. Sometimes on a Friday. It's such a headache and kind of a chore sometimes to get a show set up for the
Well,
night, because you want to be
well,
so
it's
perfect.
Friday. People are usually doing something,
Yeah.
and I mean, we usually get a lot of the same, people in our chat that we usually do, which is awesome. But I mean, I'm trying to come up with stuff to say, and it just a lot of times either what'll happen is Friday's kind of a stinker, and then Saturday goes good, or we do up all our good stuff on Friday, and then Saturday is a struggle.
Yeah,
So
yeah. And
sometimes it's nice to take a little
I'm
break
gonna
and
try to
just
get a
chat.
nice show together for tomorrow. I really don't know what I'm gonna do yet. Maybe might talk about that some.
Right.
Either
The
tonight or
struggles of
tomorrow.
coming up with content.
It's hard, and I want to start making some more just video content to put out there.
I have a ton of scripts. Now I haven't done a lot of you told I've been working on Dick Tracy too, but of course I'm my own worst enemy on some of this stuff. I got a little sidetracked and I ended up writing a Superman script with featuring Brainiac and Lex Luthor. I ended up writing a Ninja Turtle script. I ended up writing a He-Man script, X-Men one, a Fantastic Four one. So I've got tons of material, and so I can start filming. Yeah, Lyric's going to start helping me doing some backgrounds, and we'll get Dick Tracy going again. He's really excited.
I'm being held against my will.
Not only am I excited, but I know that our watchers are really excited. And
yeah, I keep getting hit for Dick Tracy too all the time, and I want to make it good, but at the same time, it's like I think what made the original one good is that we didn't try too hard to make it. You know what I mean? We just kind of just did it, and but I do have like a plot, and it's kind of going somewhere, but you want to feed it in little tiny sections. But I was watching the old,
without really getting into it too much, I was thinking, if I remember correctly, you told me that you got in your mind, kind of like George Lucas, you got a beginning and a middle and an end. And so the second episode is going to be kind of like Empire Strikes Back, right?
Well, I do have a beginning, a middle, and an end, and I do have some key moments. Because I've been reading a lot of the source material, and a lot of what they did with the source material is, Dick Tracy, he's capable, he's the badass, he always wins. But then they put him in some pretty bad scenarios where I think because this, you got to remember, this is the 30s and the 40s, and everything hasn't been cliche yet. So I think the audience really thought ooh, this could be the end of him, because they put him in some bad stuff. And
right.
I want to torture him a little bit in my little series too. And so I've come up with some scenarios with some, Dick Tracy's in some trouble. I don't know if he's going to skirt out of this one. Oh, this looks pretty bad. And I even got some of them typical cliffhanger endings, where it's like, oh, did everybody just get it? And I'm having some fun. And like I said, some of the other scripts I've been working on, like I got some Ninja Turtles and Superman, and I thought to do some of these backgrounds, like for Superman, you're going to want the skyscape so he can fly, right? Well, I could also use that with like Stratos with Masters of the Universe.
Mm-hmm.
And then I thought, like for Dick Tracy, they have like the cityscape with the buildings. Well, that worked good for Superman and Batman too.
We have to make a whole 3D model for the city for Dick Tracy.
I don't know if I want to do that again, because that took a lot to do that, and then it took up a lot of room. And then we might do one just to move the car through a city. But one of the things that I was watching, you remember that old Dick Tracy show where it had Dick Tracy in it, but most of the time it was like Hemlock Holmes or Joe Jitsu or
Dick Tracy. I remember that. I think I bought that. I bought that at the store thinking I was getting something that I didn't get.
Yeah, and well, I've been watching some of those, and one of the things that I've found in it that I could use, the simplicity of some of those backgrounds in that were genius. If you're looking at it from it's the background. It doesn't need to be like epic. You know what I mean? It's like a blue thing with a couple gray blocks for buildings and no detail, no windows. It's just there. Or they even had a couple times where they'd go into the room and it was just a white background with maybe a painting or just an orange background or a red background that really didn't make sense or really show that they were anywhere. But it was just enough to where you weren't like looking at the back of your basement wall or something. And I thought, man, the simplicity of some of these backgrounds, and they actually kind of worked for what they were doing. I was like, I could work some of this with the Ninja Turtles or the
Well, you know, that's the secret that I learned from Filmation, and that's how they got away with doing as much as they did for as little as they paid for it. Is by reusing backgrounds and reusing scenes over and over again with very little tweaking to it. You know, for instance, you know, there's a scene of Battle Cat, you know, kind of coming up and standing up like this. That scene was reused in Batman and Tarzan, and all they did was just recolor it and do a little bit of redrawing, but they already had all the motion already there.
Right. Well, there's a famous I don't know if I can pull it up, but they have a animated sequence where they have I don't remember which one came first. I think it was the Jungle Book one that came first, or it could have been the Winnie the Pooh. But anyway, it's the same animated sequence. It's either Christopher Robin or it's Mowgli, and they're walking through the
with Baloo the bear.
I've seen that. A stick, and he does the same thing, and they reuse that whole animated sequence with. I think it was Winnie the Pooh. Maybe was the second one. I can't remember.
I know exactly what you're talking about, and you are correct. Yeah, that scene was reused almost in its entirety.
Right, and they just stuck Christopher Robin where Mowgli would have been, and it was almost the same. He even turns and drags the stick and does everything the same way.
Exactly.
And it's funny because I've seen both of those and never caught that until somebody put it up. I don't know if I saw it on Instagram or YouTube or where I saw it, but somebody put it up side by side, and I saw both sequences played simultaneously, and I was like, oh my God. I think there's another one in the Sword in the Stone. Maybe they even used it again, where they had the skinny kid in the Sword in the Stone. Or no. It's I think it's when the dogs come and lick them, and I think they used it in 101 Dalmatians for somebody else.
Okay, yeah. Man, I love those old Disney movies back in the day, and there was a time when they were special,
right?
And they would like every 2 or 3 years they would re-release one to the movie theater.
My mom has a collection of those Disney DVDs and VHS tapes. My mom is very much a Disney person, and that kind of rubbed off on me growing up because I grew up watching like Snow White and Dumbo and Peter Pan like hundreds of times. Watched The Lion King hundreds of times, to the point where I know those movies backwards and forwards. And it was funny when my mom remarried, and her second husband, he come up and he goes, there's one thing I got to ask you about your mom. And I go, what's that? He goes, what the f is it with these Disney movies? That's just her thing. He's going to have to watch them.
You know, I've got a whole collection of those Disney movies on videotape. But I don't have them on. I have some of them on DVD, but I don't know what to do with those old videotapes.
I'm sure they're worth some money. And at the time, Disney was smart. They had them in like the vault or whatever, and they'd only release them periodically. And then you'd have to wait. And then
I'll tell you what I do have on videotape, and it was an ill-begotten copy of this that I got. I think at a comic. No, I got it at a sci-fi convention. You know, you go in the dealer room. There's people in there selling all kind of crap. I've got Song of the South, but it's on videotape. And it was a videotape that was done of a Japanese laser disc.
Okay.
But I remember they showed that on television when I was a kid.
Yeah, I think for the longest time at Disneyland in California, that was played on the Splash Mountain ride.
It was either that or over there at the Riverboat. I can't remember which one it was. I want to say it was over at the Riverboat. And the Splash Mountain was, might have been Brer Rabbit related at first at one time. I can't remember.
Zippity-doo-dah, zippity-day, my oh my. That was Splash Mountain. What a wonderful day.
Okay, yeah. I've only been to Disney World. I went to Disney World one time, and I think I
Okay.
was 15 or 16.
I grew up in Southern California, so I've been to Disneyland quite a few times. And then when Lyric was little, we took him. I don't know if he still remembers.
I do.
But he was just old enough to where it was like magical. So like when we took him on the Haunted Mansion, that was real. When we brought him on the Pirates of the Caribbean, we were really being fired upon. You know, so he was such a great age when we did that. You know.
You know, I was going to ask you a question there, John. We're talking about work weeks and stuff like that, and you
Sure.
know how they are. Sometimes they start out bad and end up good, and sometimes they start out good and end up bad, and sometimes they just blah. This week has not been too bad for me, but you were telling me that you were having some pains in your knees. Is that getting any better or worse?
It's getting better. Um, Not to get too much into it, but we were trying some different medications, and it turned out one of the medications we were taking, we'll call it my happy pill,
Yeah.
wasn't good for my achy joints, backs, and knees. And it started to get real bad. And I actually made a doctor appointment, and I said, hey, I'm going to be 45 years old, and I feel like I can barely move. I hurt. I'm getting moody with the people at work, moody with my family. What's going on? My wife thinks it's this little happy pill that I've been taking because I was having some anxiety and some issues last summer. I
Yeah,
told
I
you
remember
about.
that. And so it was a
And
side effect of that was causing that.
yes, she started reading off the side effects, and she's like, "Well, let me tell you, have you had this?" And everything she said, I was like, "You just described the last 6 months of my life." And she goes, "Yeah, you're in a." She goes, "That's a side effect of this, and that you're one of the unlucky ones, I guess, that gets it. So we're going to take you off that." And the problem is when you have like a mood altering medication, if they take you off something suddenly, well, that's not how you're supposed to do things.
No.
That
You're
can
supposed
have
to
some side
wean off
effects
of
in
it,
itself.
right?
You're supposed to, but we decided to just this is because it was causing me pain that we were gonna just cold turkey it. And what's funny is I have been in such a good mood, and I've been like the old me. And it was kind of funny because like I said, I was under a lot of stress and a lot of anxiety last summer, and then they put me on this damn thing. And then now it turns out I'm better served without it. And I'm almost obnoxiously happy at work now. You notice like when like people are not having a good day, and then there's some guy that comes in, hey, how's everybody doing? Oh yeah, I couldn't be happier if I was twins. How the hell are you, Bob? You know, and then they're just like, what the fuck? I hope the freaking machine breaks on his head. What the hell's wrong with that guy? You know.
I was
But it feels good to be my old cheery self, you
Well,
know.
I'm glad to hear that. I have noticed the game's been off a little bit. It's nice, when we're doing it like this, when we're really not streaming and we're just sitting here chatting with each other because it takes a lot of that
Yeah.
pressure off. You know what I'm saying?
Well, yeah, we can just be ourselves and talk about what we want, not have to worry about entertaining anybody, you know. But what what was hard when we were doing some of those streamings, I was taking other things to medicate for the pain. And I mean, I used to be a rock and roll drummer, and I used to be able to hang with the big boys when it came to the
You
party
did
stuff.
well. Now wait a minute. You didn't take any of the cheats, did you?
No, nothing like that. I'm boring as hell now, dude. I don't do anything like that. But I was trying to, the CBD and things like that. But what is hard with stuff like that when you do something for pain and you're taking it to try to help with like achy joints or hurt. And I was live with you a couple times where I, let's say, messed up the dose. And I might have been a little too in the clouds, and there was a couple times where you might have asked me a question or something, and I was just all like, or I'd be saying something or telling my story, and I lost my train of thought, and it was. I appreciate you sticking with me through some of these because some of those were painful.
No.
I
I
can't watch them
appreciate
back.
you. I appreciate you sticking with me because sometimes the lag can get pretty rough sometimes at night. I don't know why it happens at the beginning of the night. I have a feeling that it's because I'm still using this shitty laptop. I don't have enough money to get a new rig. and it'll probably take forever for me too, because I was
But you're laughing at me.
I was looking at the money that's been rolling in, and I did really
For
really
sure.
good at the beginning of the year, and then it kind of slowed down.
Well, we were pushing for it on a lot of the shows, and
Yeah,
now
and
we're not really
I
pushing
didn't really
for it
want
like
to
we
do
were.
that because I felt like people would think I was just begging for money when I'm really not. But what
Well,
happened was, usually I would meet my goal for the month, which was $100. I mean, I would tell everybody $50 a week, but it really was $100. I wanted
turn that
$100
down a
because
little, bud.
that's what YouTube pays out,
Right.
and I got it uh, from January, February, March, and then I didn't get it April.
Well, like I said, we were pushing for it earlier, and then I think it turned some people off. We were constantly begging for money, and I
Yeah.
think that if someone donates, then they do, and if they don't, they don't. We just do our show, and if
Yeah.
someone throws you $5 and says they want a song, then we'll
Boom, play it right there.
play
Yeah, that's
it
what.
and then pay because they paid and play it and then move on. Like it was distracting for us too. When we're trying to do a show and then you sit there and hey, turn that down a little, bud, just a little
I
bit.
can't hear it.
Oh, what's blaring in my back here?
Okay,
Like,
I can't
enough
hear
for
it.
you to hear it, but not for I to live in it.
But
Yeah.
one of these days we'll have a better computer. Now, one of the other things that really causes big issues is OBS. The more bells and whistles that you add into OBS, the more it taxes your system. So right now there's hardly any lag. It's probably because I'm not trying to stream or go through OBS or anything like that.
Right, and well, we're not having a lot of latency right now either, And plus, I think it takes a lot of the pressure off when we're just talking to each other instead of trying to do a show,
Yeah,
because we're not stepping on each other right now, or we're the flow back and forth pretty easy. But whenever we go live, we're always like, I feel like I'm a couple seconds behind you, or you're a couple seconds ahead of me, or whatever it is that throws us off.
yeah.
But it gets hard to go back and forth. I also think when you're having a natural conversation, there's a natural pause, and then the other guy knows it's my turn. When you're live, those are harder to find.
The other thing, I think we were talking about this the other day when we were just chatting together. Uh, One of the problems that we have, both of us, is we have these personalities, and then
You don't say.
we kind of overblow those personalities as soon as
Right.
the on air button goes on up there,
Right. Lyric down a little, bud. Sorry
and
about that.
then I've been trying to think of ways in which that we can kind of tone that down and kind of become more of ourselves and bring that out.
Right. Well, and I do think the pressure gets on when we're on. We're trying to be entertaining and have and be a show, but maybe it'd be better we just be ourselves, But I think because me and you both are talkers, and you had
Yeah,
two talkers with one mic, and
right.
and end up like some of these.
What would be funny is if we were actually live and the people in the chat were like wondering why we weren't acknowledging the chat and they were just sitting there chatting with each other. I think it'd be funny as hell,
Right.
wouldn't it?
It would be funny, that were live and didn't know it or something.
Yeah, well, at least we don't have to worry about that because this is all secure right here. So it's just me and you.
Right. Yeah, you know what I mean? It's like I don't know how some of these other guys do it, where they have like 50,000 freaking people on there and everybody's talking at the same time. It's just wall, 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 wall. How can anybody watch that crap?
I have no idea. That's you talking about the wall of people where there's like
Yeah, they're like a
heads
freaking
all over the
Hollywood
screen.
squares, and everybody's going at once. And it's like it's hard enough with two people trying not to step on each other. I can't imagine that a whole bunch of these guys trying to get in all at once. It's
Hey,
like watching five monkeys try to screw a football.
now when there's two or three people, it's okay. Like there's a guy I know named Deracuda, and he's got a friend of his named Sean that comes on there, and they'll chat with each other sometimes, and it's fun to watch them. But, and they sit there and play off of one another, and sometimes they'll have another guy come in. You know what was real funny was one night the Derek Cootie get drunk at night, right, while he's streaming, and he gets totally shit faced. It's funny as hell, and then he'll sit there and he'll get all drunk and shit, and then he'll leave the chat, he'll leave the stream, but he's in StreamYard, right? And so everybody that's in StreamYard will stay on there because it'll stay going. And he didn't realize that he didn't stop the StreamYard, and so they'll continue the show while he's gone. That happened one night.
Right. Well, I mean, you know, the first time I went live, I forgot to hit the live button. So then me and you did like 20 minutes of a show while there were people in the chat like, where are they? What's going on? Joseph's late to his own show. And it's like, we're doing the show. We're not even on. And then we come on and it's just such a disaster. But I need to do more of those because it's the only way you get better. But it's like I wanted to be a little more professional when I first started going on. But, you know, sometimes when you watch some of these train wrecks, it's just great. You know, you'd be like, did we push the button?
I think that's part of the reason why some people watch us is they like to watching the train wreck happen right in front of their face.
Sure. You know, I'll tell you what, here's a fear of mine. There's been a couple times where we've ended the show and you're like, okay, we're off the air. And I'm like, oh, okay, god dang. And then I'm like, what a fuck. You know, and then I just start, you know, cutting loose, you know, and then I'm like, oh, fuck, are we still on? You know, and like, okay, no, we're not, you know, and it's funny when, you know, that's a fear of mine, you know, like you're like, okay, we're off air. I just start picking my nose. Yeah, okay, cool.
I've been known to pick my nose on the air. I'll sit there and scratch my nose.
Nice.
You ever had your mustache make your nose itch?
Dude, I don't know what it is, but like when I watch some of, I don't like to watch our replays, and I'll tell you why. I catch all these stupid things I freaking do while we're on. Like, for whatever reason, like we'll be on and like my head will itch, and then I'll just be sitting there itching my head like I'm freaking Pigpen on Snoopy or something, you know.
I used the one that walked around in a cloud of dirt all the time.
You know? Yeah.
Did they ever clean him up on there one time? I can't remember.
No, that would ruin the character. He's got to walk around in the cloud of dust. But it's like there's been a couple times I've watched back our show and I'm sitting there digging on my face or rubbing my, you know, and it's like, oh my god, stop it! What are you doing? See,
There's some music playing back there. I can't.
Yeah, dude, this kid is a hoot. I love having my kids around. You know, I mean, me and his mother are divorced, so I only get him half the time. But he's always welcome down here. I never deny him or tell him no, or you know what I mean. I always want him near me. Most of the time when we're live, you know, he's usually off playing in the background just when we're live.
Well, I know when we're live, you're always telling him make sure to don't come on the screen or anything like that.
Yeah, he. Well, I don't want any. I don't know if you can get in trouble for having a little kid on.
You can and you can't. If you do something like. Have you seen those streams where the kids are like the star of the show, and you know how well it's produced that they're not really doing that themselves?
Well, he used to do a lot of videos with me, and then for a while there, he didn't want to anymore. And then he sometimes, I think I'd like to get back to doing videos with him, but then there's that little thing where YouTube said, "Is this video made for kids?" And quite honestly, I don't feel like my content is specifically made for kids, but I was careful not to say curse words or to keep it somewhat family friendly, and so because I didn't want anyone to go, oh, he's endangering the kid, you know, and you know what I mean. And but some of the times one thing that worked with us is I never coached him, I never told him what to say, I never told him what to do. We just put the camera on and he just says what he says and he does what he does. And, you know, maybe we might have a loose plan. Like I'd be like, Lyric, we're going to introduce it and then we're going to do this. But one of the funnier ones, I think I was doing Mosquito, and he didn't want to be on, so he's off in the back playing Legend of Zelda or something. Mm-hmm. And I got Mosquito and I'm doing the thing with him. Jesus.
Oh, don't worry. If we were live right now, they would say he was the star of the show. I guarantee you.
Probably. Yeah, but I was like, on the package for Mosquito, they were saying it had fluid. So you pump the button and the fluid moves, and I'm like, why would they say fluid? It's blood. Why wouldn't you just say blood? And so I said blood, and I put the thing, and all of a sudden he just randomly come over, and he goes, well, Dad, if you say the word blood, then they're probably going to think you're scaring kids. And I just leaned over to him and I went, blood. And he went, ah! And then he ran away. And it's like, we didn't plan that. It was just spontaneous. And it's funny because he walked on and he was in the video for just that moment. And then he just walked off, and then that was it.
The funniest old video that I ever saw with Lyric on it was you were doing a video and you were trying to get Lyric to be in the video. This is old now. You were trying to get Lyric to be in the video with you, and he wasn't really cooperating. And the next thing you know, you're still doing the video, and he's over here with his little slippers on. I forget what they were, and he's playing the video game in the background, and you just kept on doing the video. It's funny.
Like I said, I never wanted to because my wife said, well, you should put Lyric on with you. Some of these YouTubers, they have kid on and then they, get, and I never wanted to be like where I'm exploiting him to make, you know what I mean? If he wants to be on, he can be on. And if he doesn't want to be on, he doesn't have to be on.
Well, you're talking about marking the video made for kids. You don't ever want to do that, because if you do that, then they put it in the kids video. You can't monetize it. You can't have it. What is it called? The comment section is blocked out. Right. And then,
and I don't feel like my videos are for kids. My videos are for 40, 50-year-old men. And that's who likes.
If you're not 13 or older, you don't need to be watching this. And really, it's 16. Really.
Quite honestly, the only reason he knows what He-Man is because he watches it with me, or ever since he was little. So he likes Star Wars and He-Man and all that stuff.
Somebody said this, and I can't remember who it was. It might have been old numbnuts over there at Spector Creative, Scott Nutlick. I think he's the one that said it. Now, you say what you will about him, but he sometimes he's on point. And he was saying that the Origins line was created not for the kids, it was for the adults to play with their kids because they remembered the line.
That's what we did, and like when it first came out, I was like a kid again, searching the Walmarts for getting these Origins, but
read this.
Oh boy.
That's
read it out loud. I want to hear what he's got on. What did he write?
That was not funny. Freaking kid telling the jokes. Read this. This is women's rights. It's blank. You are not funny. I did not teach you that. That kid kills me.
It'd be kind of cool if we were live, because we might get a super chat, maybe even a $2 super chat. It would be kind of cool if we did.
You never know. You never know.
Could happen. You never know. But we'd have to be live for that to happen, and a good thing we're not, right?
Do you think they're on to us?
On to what? What are you talking about?
I have no idea. But what am I looking at? I'm trying to figure it out. But one of the other things too I did too, because like I said, I never tried to exploit him for YouTube or anything like that. But when we got Grayskull, I never did a Grayskull opening video. We showed the box, and I think it's like a 2-minute or 4-minute video. And then I said, hey, me and Lyric are going to open this off camera, and I'm going to have a day with me and my son, and that's it. And you're not invited. And we never did go back and do a video on Grayskull. Me and him opened it up and put it together and played, and, and just had a time.
I got a question. I've got all this new stuff over here, and I'm thinking each one is a video in and of itself, and do videos on them and release them during the week, and maybe just kind of touch on them. Maybe touch on them during the week.
The jig is up.
Is it? Yeah, we know you guys are over there, and we've been clowning around, but I thought it would be funny to just do a cold opening and actually show what we do when we're not live. And this is what we do when we're not live.
Right. This was kind of a brainstorm of ours where we thought, there's a lot of times after show that we just sit around and talk, and the after show that the audience is not at is better than the show the audience got.
Pretty
and
much.
So we thought, wouldn't it be neat to capture that? So Bill had warned me one of these days when me and him were just sitting here shooting the crap that he was just going to push the live button and see what happens. And I think that's might have been what has occurred here. Did you know that you were live dancing in front of millions of viewers?
Oh.
He doesn't even care. That's hilarious.
That is hilarious. But you know what we're going to do? We're going to play something real quick because it just popped up here and it's got to happen. So let me go down here and get that going just real quick. It's going to take me a second to pull that up.
Next time, tell me.
But yeah, well, he didn't even tell me. I just happened to see over on my other screen. I'm like, oh crap, Bill is live. That can't be because I'm here talking to him. But yeah, it's funny. He he spitballed this idea at me, but I mean, I didn't know we were going to do it now. But yeah, I do think that sometimes the after show and the stuff we get into when we're not on camera is funny stuff.
Look, there it is. Nightwing Super Chat wants to hear a song. He's going to hear it right now.
Dang right.
I'm not sure if it's safe to report from my vantage point. I really need to leave. Civil Defense has informed me that the surrounding areas are in ruin. I see some people running now. In the opinion of this reporter, if this nation, or in fact the world, ever needed heroes, that time is now. That time is now.
Yep, we're live there, Lyric, and you didn't even know it because we didn't tell you.
No, that's funny. But I mean, being that we are on, I think we continue as we were, just you and me shooting the crap,
just shoot the shit. Yeah, but we can acknowledge the chat, so yeah.
Well, yeah. Now that I know that they're there.
Yeah, Sean's digging it. All right, so Sean gave me a super chat earlier. And I think he deserves the same chance that everybody else gets when they give a super chat. But I know that he doesn't know what the music and fun list is. So I'm going to pull that up.
Let him pick one that tickles his fancy.
Absolutely. And let's let T-Law tell us about it.
It's time for music and fun on Weird Fantastic Toy Adventures.
So there you go. Sean, pick one of those. You don't know what they are, it doesn't matter. So you'll be wait, there's a chat. Oh yeah, there's a chat, dude. Uh pick a song, Sean, anything you want to off that list, and I will play that. So just do that right now. Let me know in the chat, and I will be more than happy to play that since you gave me a super chat. It could be anything on there. So just any, meeny, miny, mo, pick one. I don't care what. There's some good ones on there, and there's some ones on there, and there's one that you really don't want to pick. And I'm not going to try to influence you in any way, sir.
You know what's funny is Lyrics heard a lot of these so many times, and I've caught him
crack miser
playing his
he wants the crack miser. Go ahead. I'm sorry to step on you.
Oh, you're fine. Lyric listens to a lot of these, and sometimes he'll be singing the songs while we're playing them, and I'll hear Lyric singing like the Wellerman, or he does the pooping on company time, but he switches out the word. You know, so it'd be like, taking a poop, taking a crap. You know, he doesn't say the 4-letter word, but he does know where it is.
Right, right.
But yeah, he's 11. He's been to school. I'm sure he's heard a few words.
All right, Sean wanted the crack miser, so let's play crack miser for him. Here we go.
I'm Mr. White Christmas. I'm high on crack. I'm Mr. I see you. I'm Mr. Pain in his back. They call me crack addict. Whatever I touch, so to buy more drugs. It's never enough. He's Mr. White Christmas. He's high on crack. He's Mr. I see you. He's Mr. Pain in his back. They call me crack addict. Whatever I touch, it's so to buy more drugs. It's never enough.
And we are back. I didn't play all of it, but the credits at the end. But there you go. That's kind of what you get. You get what you want. He said he wanted Hi-O Silver as a close second. Well, you know, there's a way to get that. We just been having fun tonight. Me and Jones are chatting like we normally do when we're not on the air. One of the things that I wanted to ask Jones was what is your favorite story arc in Marvel Comics of all time?
Ooh, that's a tough one. There are so many good ones. Let me stew on that for a minute.
Okay.
I think I could probably narrow it down if I just like what's my favorite Spider-Man story arc or what's my favorite Hulk story arc. Then I probably it'd be quicker to answer. But my favorite all time, you know, actually I do got one, and it is my favorite of all time. It's an old-timey one. It's for the Steve Ditko run on Spider-Man when they first get him into college, and they got the villain is the master planner, and we don't know who the master planner is, and he's doing things behind the scenes and getting to Spider-Man. And then and there's a subplot where Aunt May's sick, and Parker's got to get this medicine, and it's super expensive, and he's got to do all this. And basically where it all boils down to, the master planner is revealed to be Dr. Octopus. Spider-Man is utterly crushed and defeated with Aunt May's cure in his hands, and he's got all the rubble on him, and it looks like it's over. And then you get that iconic cover with Steve Ditko and Spider-Man. I might even be able to pull it up here quick.
Well, they won't be able to see it because we're really not in Video Ninja. This is just a backdrop with us on it.
Oh, okay. But anyway, it's that one, the moment where he's got all the rubble on his back and he's trying to get up. And
Yeah,
he's,
I've seen that.
I mean?
I've seen that cover.
That is my favorite of all time, because to me, that's the best.
I want to say
that
they
character
reprinted
ever
all
was.
of those in Marvel Tales or something like that.
They did. And
That's
they've
where I read
reused
them.
that. They've reused that iconic scene with all the stuff on his back in a few of the movies. Spider-Man 2 with Tobey Maguire did it with the ending with Dr. Octopus. They did it in the first one with the current Spider-Man actor. I can't remember that kid's name. But yeah, those that's my favorite, is where he's got all that stuff on his back, and it's all Steve Ditko's artwork. It's just, and obviously Stan Lee's got the bubbles in there, like, oh, too heavy, can't do it, it's all over, I'm sorry, I failed you, no, can't give up, Aunt May's depending on this, I have to, and it's just, and then there's that great, because they just build it. I think there's 3 pages of him with the rubble on his back. And then finally you get that full page, and all the rubble comes off. And I don't care who you are, if you're 50 years old or you're 10 years old, when you saw that full page opening in Spider-Man, you went, and you had that fan moment where that was the best that character ever was. Right there. From that point on, it's downhill.
I don't know about that, but I will say that I think that a lot of people are unaware of how powerful or how strong Spider-Man actually is. Even Spider-Man himself is pulling his punches all the time, so even he
Correct.
doesn't know the full range of his strength.
Well, later than when they did the little mind swap thing, and it was the Astonishing Spider-Man or the I can't remember what they changed, but Dr. Octopus got in Peter Parker's body, and it was Dr. Octopus's brain in Parker's body, and we did get to see, because he punched Scorpion's jaw right off his freaking body, and like you know what I mean, like, and then you got to see, ooh, this is a Spider-Man not holding back anymore. And he is frightening, Now
you're going to make me try to remember what the name of that damn comic book was with Octavius and Peter.
Yeah, I didn't like it. Because I'm one of them cranky old men yelling at a cloud. Oh, they changed it. No, you can't do that. No, Batman can't be the friggin' other guy. It's got to be Bruce Wayne. What is this crap? Yeah, get off my lawn. Why are they changing the comics? Who's this Wally West guy? Where's Barry Allen? What are they doing?
I actually liked Wally West. I watched how they did that, and really I as a young man, I guess I was 15 or 16 when these were coming out. When they did the whole Crisis on Infinite Earths, that lasted about a year, I think. And of course,
it was that was the beginning of the big crossovers, right? Like they did Secret Wars and they did that, and then that's when they were good. Now they do it all the time. It's not special anymore.
Yeah, but so basically the premise, if anybody doesn't already know this, was that Barry Allen had to go back in time, and he was chasing, I guess, a tachyon or something, and he ended up going so fast that he disintegrated. Is that basically it?
No.
And he actually became the lightning bolt that gave him the powers.
He became one with the Speed Force. He merged into it.
So, well, that was retconned in later, but then Wally West took off the Kid Flash costume and put on the Flash costume and took up the mantle.
Right.
Well, that really wasn't fleshed out until the Legend miniseries came out, which was extremely good, and the art in that was done by John Byrne, and it was coming out at the same time that they were rebooting people like Superman and Man of Steel, the miniseries.
Right. No, and Wally West was the Flash when I was a kid, so I remember reading, when I was reading Flash, it was Wally West. Barry Allen had been done with.
But and then that led into a new Flash comic book, starting with issue 1 that featured Wally West.
Yeah,
and those, I got into that. I really did get into that. Now I kind of got out of that as it got towards the end of the run, and it kind of got really, really nasty, in my opinion, nasty.
Right.
But Not nasty in a bad way. I mean, just the art was nasty and the storylines were just bad. But at the
Right.
beginning, it was neat because he didn't have full control of his speed powers anymore. And that was when the idea that he would use up the energy in his body and he'd have to eat a whole bunch of food to be able to replenish his energy in order to
Right.
do that. And
I actually liked that, and I feel like they incorporated that into the TV show.
They
With
did.
Barry Allen was the Flash, and they put the eating to maintain the speed thing, and I think that's great because there has to be some kind of weakness or crutch or something, and it makes sense where the guy goes so fast, his body's burning up so much energy, it just demands he replaces it. So he's got to eat like 6 pizzas and 14 hot dogs just to be able to, do it.
Well, one of the things that they talked about back in the day was, I'm talking about back, Bronze Age and Silver Age Flash, Barry Allen could go with the speed of light. Once you get that fast, I mean, you can do anything you want to, right?
Well,
What
that was always my
the
argument.
So when they slowed him down like that, it made much more easier storylines to tell.
Right, and that was the hardest problem. I always said the nightmare characters to write for would be like Superman or the Flash, because name me one Flash story that couldn't be finished in the first panel. And even if he did screw up, he can just go back in time and fix it.
Yeah.
So it was like there was no, you know what I mean? It just didn't matter. And it's like, okay, I'm a big Wolverine guy. And the original Wolverine in the 70s and 80s, when I think some of the better stuff, even in the 90s, Wolverine was not this unkillable person that they've turned him into now, where he could be a bullet sponge and he'll just, you know what I mean? Like, he was very injurable. He was very harmable. And the healing factor could only do so much. In fact, I think in his original miniseries, he was defeated by a guy with a wooden sword.
I got a question, Jones here.
Yeah.
Okay, apparently they Wolverine's healing factor powers got so ridiculously out of control that at one point he regenerated from one drop of blood.
Yes, and to me that's just stupid. He was already overpowered enough as it was to where he could take Hulk punches.
I got a question, Joneser. Yeah. If the adamantium on his skeleton was put on there by someone else when he regenerated, how's he regenerating the adamantium metal?
I don't know if he was regenerating the metal, but I mean, they did so many dumb things with him later after the 90s that I just didn't want to pay attention to. Like, I think they started to lose me at Bone Claws. When they took the adamantium off him and then they had him have bone claws. And then, because when I watched the original Wolverine, like Weapon X, he didn't have claws. In the old Wolverine days, he fought with a gun and he was a spy and he had a knife and he didn't know he had claws. And then they retconned it as like PTSD. And like, to me, it's like they should have never told Wolverine's past. Because that's
the thing. What's more intriguing than a mystery? And what happens when you tell the mystery and you let the cat out of the bag? Then it's not special anymore.
Right. No, to me, I always loved wondering what is really the relationship between Wolverine and Sabretooth. How come Wolverine remembers Silver Fox being killed by Sabretooth, and how come she's still alive? You know what I mean? Like, the things like that were more fun to me than knowing all the answers, which they later did. And I think that was Joe Quesada when he kind of took over and he was trying to be like the modern age Stan Lee. And he was like, well, let's do a Wolverine story that no one would ever do. Well, what would you do? Wolverine origins. Let's tell the origin story we're not supposed to tell. It's like, well, okay, now you can't wonder about it no more.
Yeah,
and then they did stuff like he regenerated from a single cell, or they cut off his head and it grew back, and like Hulk ripped him in half and then he was fine. And like it to me, it's like, okay, so now there's no stakes. It doesn't matter. Now, anytime I see Wolverine get hurt, I don't have to care. From now on, forever.
Yeah, and it loses something at that point. I want to answer Sean here real quick. if we were on StreamYard, it would be a ton easier. As it is right now, I would have to have some sort of a private dialogue with you, like through Instagram or something like that, in order to send you a link that would allow you to come into this stream, the Video Ninja, and then I would have to physically add you into OBS. And I generally don't do that while I'm live on the air, man. I do that before the show with someone I'm going to have on the show. Now, in the future, if you can contact me some kind of way offline, either through Discord, I do have a Discord, by the way, and the link to that Discord should be down in the description. If it's not, then it's over there on the description for the channel itself. So if you go to my channel description, you should be a set of links in there. You can join my Discord and come talk to me there, or you can get on Instagram and you can follow Weird Fantastic Toy Adventures on Instagram and let me know who you are, whatever your name is over there, and we can chat about getting you on the show if you want to, Sean. I wouldn't mind having you on the show. So, but for tonight, it's just not going to be feasible. Sorry, man. Go ahead, Jones.
I was just gonna say, usually the more the merrier. I love when we have a third wheel every once in a while.
I do too, but like I said, it's just kind of you know how it is with this, how setting it up can be a chore. Once it's set,
I don't know how you do it. Like when I did my live and you tried to walk me through something live on the air and then make me do it, and I was like, God, I don't know how he does this. You know, like that's tough.
It is, and it's from watching a lot of how-to videos from Michael Frayer. I can tell you that now. Right. And if you're not subscribed to Michael Frayer and you're a content creator and you're using OBS, you probably need to go watch that guy.
I probably should write that name down then. I did watch some videos of somebody. You usually refer to them through an acronym or something. But I found some of his videos and I was watching it. I was actually enjoying him.
I told you he's an enjoyable person to watch, and there's nothing wrong with him. It's just that he and I got crossways, and it was
wrong one. Not that one. No, I wasn't watching that.
It wouldn't be the old timey Boom Boom Man, would it?
Yes, that's the one I was watching. He had a Dick Tracy video where he was like counting down like the worst toy lines of all time. And he had the Dick Tracy toy line. And I watched his video and he actually gave it a pretty good review considering it was on his stink list, but I really enjoyed his take on it. And then because of that, I didn't even notice that was the guy. Here, I'm going to clue the chat in now that I know they're there.
Hold on. Just a second. Mike Fee, if you're still there, would you post the Discord link in the chat for me, please?
Thank you, buddy.
I don't have access to. I'm not opening up any more windows on this computer right now, so I can't pull up my Discord and grab the invite link. If you could do that for me, please, I would appreciate that, Mike, if you're there. Anyway, go ahead. I'm sorry. I just wanted to get that out.
You're fine. Just one of the things that I had my own mental problems is that Bill been on YouTube a long time, and Bill knows a lot of guys in the community and a lot of good channels and a lot of good content and a lot of people that I probably should be watching. And I'm just one of those people where I work a full job. I got a wife. I got kids. I'm busy. I don't really watch a lot of this stuff. I try to watch my friends and support my friends, but a lot of times I don't even watch as much of their stuff as I'd like. But anyway, Bill will tell me about these people or these other channels, and I'll just be like, who? What? I don't know what that is. And then he tell me to watch some of this stuff, and then I never do, you know. And it's just kind of funny because I always feel like you're always saying, well, you got to know who's who and what's what, and I am the worst person at that, you know. Or like you tell me about somebody that I should watch or something that's on, and I'm like, I don't know who that is.
Thanks, Mike. And okay, Sean, I sent you a friend request. I don't know what through, but if I see it, I'll take care of that later on today or tomorrow, and we'll work out something there, Sean. But yeah, you have to know who's who in the zoo, because what happens is you have to know who hates who, and who's at war with who, and who's got.
Nope. That's why I like not knowing. Like when
Well,
you tell me
the
about
problem with that
drama or
is
with
that you
other
might
people,
be
like I like
friends with
not knowing.
somebody, and you don't realize that they're standing with somebody against somebody that you're also friends with, and then everything starts to melt down because you know how tribalism works.
You know what though? If they're really my friend, then it won't matter if I like or don't like whoever they do.
You
like
would
or
think
don't
that
like.
would be true,
You
right?
know?
But you know what happened over there with the Hollywood Squares, right?
Yeah, no, I know, and I got booted off of Fantasy Island or whatever happened there. And you know what's funny though is, and I don't mind saying this publicly or not publicly or what have you. It's like I think that was a cowardly way to do that. If you had a problem with me, you should have DM'd me, you should have talked to me, tell everybody in your little group what you thought after you booted me out and didn't even give me a chance to respond. I think that just showed the color that this person is.
I will.
You know?
I meant to tell you this privately, but since we're not really streaming or anything today, and we are private right now, I will go ahead and tell you this. I contacted our friend from Eternia,
Sure.
who is he's an ancient 2,000-year-old wizard, and
Yeah, I know.
I contacted him about Mike Fee. And if you guys don't know it, and Mike, you feel free to put that link up to your GoFundMe, my friend. Mike Fee is having a little bit of trouble paying for his cancer treatment, which is a bone marrow transplant. His chances of recovery from cancer are great if he gets this bone marrow transplant, and he has to get his money together before June the 12th. So we're all working to work towards that. I contacted that wizard from Eternia and told him about this, and I asked him to let those people up to Hollywood Squares know about it, so that they can help Mike. Because look, I'm not going to hold no grudges, and if I can get Mike some help from that sector of the community, so be it. I mean, we don't hold grudges here. At least I don't, Jones or Mike.
No, I could care less. You know, and my thing is this: that people are people, bygones are bygones. I'll always feel that particular way about how that was handled. But did I lose any sleep over it? No, I don't care. You know, I mean, those people are just people, and they do what they do.
Sean, I can tell you what, old Bill's about broke as they can get. Matter of fact, there's a song on YouTube that those AI song generators are doing called "Motherfucker, I'm Broke," and that's the funniest song I've heard in a while. But that's me, motherfucker, I'm broke. But you know, I'm not broken up. I can't spare $10, and I gave you $10, Mike. And that you know, right now that's probably the best I can do. But I wanted you to have that. So yeah.
Well,
and don't worry about it, Sean. If you could just give him $1. Look, if 1,000 people gave him $1, how much money would he have?
Well, I think we'd be done. Speaking of which, as we speak right now, me and the wife had discussed about this, and we were going to make a donation on the Jones family, and I am pushing the button on that right now. So, you know, we wish you a speedy and healthy, happy recovery, Mike. Oop, I might need the code for this. Hold on a sec. Give me a sec here, Bill.
Thank you. Go ahead. And yes, I have seen that one, and there's some more from that particular one. There's a couple of them I've actually done here. And thank you, Mike. There it is, right there, folks. There's Mike's GoFundMe. I encourage you to go over there and give to that. As a matter of fact, for each person in here right now who gives to that GoFundMe, Instagram me a picture of the confirmation from that, and I will play you anything on the song list that you request. There you go.
Anything?
Just being here with you guys is great for me, says Mike. Well, look, we want to keep you here with us. That's the point.
Yes. Well, Bill, I just donated, and I wouldn't mind picking a song there.
All right. Well, let me pull up the song list, and you pick one from it there, my brother.
Let me see here. What does the Joneser want to hear or see?
Angie Baby.
Which one, Lyric?
Angie Baby.
Lyric's calling for Angie Baby. I'm going to let Lyric pick my pick.
Angie Baby. Well, that means I'm going to have to edit this live stream later, but that doesn't matter to me. That is
Wouldn't
something.
you not do it anyway for the crack miser? Or?
No, Crack Miser's not going to get me. Nothing we've done so far is going to get me. Here's the deal, folks, and I probably never have said this out loud, but since we're not really live right now and we're just, me and Jones are just hanging out together, if you want to ever hear a live stream the way it's meant to be heard, you have to watch it live. Because the stuff that I get copyright ID'd on, I cut that all out so that when I finally do get 1,000 subscribers, I can go ahead and complete my monetization and start picking up a little bit of ad revenue. And I think Sean just gave something as well. So I'm going to trust you about that, Sean, and I'll let you get another crack at it. But right now, Joneser gets what he wants. So let me get over here and pull up Angie Baby for Joneser. Take me just a second.
For
there,
Lyric picked it. I donated. He picked.
Okay. All right. So what I'm doing now is I'm going to a different scene, and I'm going over to the properties on one of the playlists on that scene, where I will remove the Crack Miser song and I will add in the Angie Baby
I
song.
forgot. We're not in a usual thing, so it's a little more bells and whistles and jumps for you.
So there it is, and I'm going to go ahead and start that going here. Uh-oh, let me make sure I did that right.
It wasn't my choice. It was Lyric's choice. He listens to all these, every other live we're on. He's in the back. He's always constantly here. You all just didn't know it.
You're right. All right, here we go. Angie Baby, get it in there. This time I'm going to make it stick. There we go. And I will set it to play as soon as I change the scene. And here you go, Angie Baby. And here you go. Sean has probably never seen this before, or if he has, it's been a while. Watch the clouds at the beginning. Watch the buildings at the beginning. And watch stuff in the background. There's a lot going on.
Lot to unpack with this one.
It is. There's a lot going on in not only in the song itself, but in the cartoon representation that's been done. And I'll talk about where that came from when we come back. So here we go. Music and fun for Joneser and Lyric. Go, you got your request in.
Lyric has a small complaint with the request. With the way we have the mic set up now, we couldn't even hear it.
Could not hear it.
Well, we'll figure it out another time. No biggie. But I want us to leave the audio the way it is, so we don't echo, schmucko, knuckle, hecko, echo, echo. You know.
Right. Well, I'm hoping that everyone else heard it. But yeah, the way I've got it set up is so that we don't start picking up each other's sound. And one of the ways in which Joneser was actually hearing everything that we're doing on the show live was through my mic, because he's not actually watching OBS. He's watching my virtual camera.
Right. So no big though, because it's not like he's never heard it before and he's already engrossed in his game.
Well, you know, when the show's over with, we can always play it for him.
I just shut up, citizen.
Hey there, virtual in the game, not real. Raising a little psychopath back there.
Big shout out to Turning an Ellipse, Sir Clifton, who showed up in the chat tonight. He's on break at work. He has got to work at night now, folks, and he doesn't get around as much as he did. Speaking of which, that reminds me, the Collector Safe Space group and Grindhead Jim both are going to be doing something special for Mike here in the future at some point. I don't have any details on that yet. Okay. When I do, I will put out some kind of a post of some sort on the various places that I hang out at, including my own community tab here on YouTube, and let you guys know what's going on. And Sir Clifton wants to be a part of the Grindhead Gym one, so I want to make sure that I remember to let him know so that he can do that. I want to say Grindhead said either next weekend or on Toy Grinds Live next Monday, maybe.
Sure.
He said he would talk with me later excuse me, later about that, but he hasn't gotten back to me on that. Today's his birthday.
What's his birthday today?
Yeah,
so
today's his
let him
birthday. I
enjoy
mean,
his
he's
birthday.
been up. He was up last night till 4 a.m. in the morning playing, and had maybe an hour or two of sleep, and got up late, and then live streamed this afternoon. And
I didn't get to see it, but I popped in the comments. We had to do some errands and things, so I just popped in and said a happy birthday. I think I said a humorous Marilyn Monroe gif in the Instagram link.
you
for his
did. I
happy
saw
birthday.
that. I saw that. Yeah, that was cool. Speaking of which, I do have an Instagram group just for the special members of the channel. Those who are members of the channel, or Patreons, or have done something very, very special for me and for this channel. If you ever fall into one of those groups and you're on Instagram, you let me know, and I will add you into that chat. And we have a ton of fun, and sometimes you can see some of the memes of the week before they actually become memes of the week over there.
Right.
Because that's one of the repositories when I'm harvesting memes, when I'm out there doing God's work, harvesting these memes, I post them on Instagram so that when I come in here to fill up OBS with those memes, all I got to do is grab the pictures off of my chat there on Instagram.
I sent a pile of them to you.
I saw
while we
those,
were
and
in
some of those are really, really good. I don't want to spoil any of that because you might see that tomorrow night.
Same for tomorrow. But I now that I know that you're a connoisseur of such things, I try to save them on my phone and send them to you.
There you go. That's what I'm looking for. And you know, I posted a meme. The meme shelf is empty. Please come and put some memes on the shelf so that it can fill back up. That was meant for everyone there in that chat.
Hey, man, you got any more of them damn memes, man? Yeah, we're looking for some memes. We gotta have them.
I'll suck your dick.
I need some memes, man.
You want a hamburger? Oh yeah. You know, speaking of Crack Miser, we were watching him just a minute ago. Something that I missed the first time I watched it, but I can't miss it anytime I see it. And a lot of times, if the chat's popped up on the screen, it'll cover it up. But if you ever notice where his dick is a little, it's all pixeled out.
Oh, I never did see that.
He naked. No. Yeah, he naked. Oh, he naked.
I didn't even notice that.
Yeah.
Well, that one disturbs me because my oldest son, he had a snowman for Christmas that would sing that same song, but it was the real "I'm Mr. White Christmas, I'm Mr. Snow." You know, it did the real thing. So when I hear that one, I'm like thinking of the sweet little kid from 10 years ago and this song being ruined. Now,
Sean, I've seen some of that shit you post over there on Derekuda's Discord over there in the shit posting thing. Some of that's not fit for me putting on YouTube, buddy. Oh yeah, I put one of those on here though the other day. If I think I can get away with it, I'll do it. But that is a good place to go.
We like to skirt the line, but we try not to cross it too much.
You want a felty? I'll suck you off for 50 cents.
You don't want to go down that road. There's a lot of history on that road. No, I don't want to go down there.
Shit, how long have we been on? I haven't even been paying attention.
I don't know. I wasn't even aware when you pushed the button. So
yeah, well, I said it would be about 8 o'clock. You know. Oh, okay. I'm well aware. Yeah, he knows what he posts over there. We can't even use his screen name over here.
You know what's funny to me is there used to be a clear cut like where you couldn't put that and you can, and now lately like I'll scroll through my Instagram and I'm not gonna name, but there are some folks in the community that do some like risque pictures of the toys and different things, and like, man, how do they get away with that? That's all right. And then I've noticed because they have people that do these. I don't know if you've ever heard of this thing, Bill. They have this thing called OnlyFans. And these ladies, they put this thing out there, and then they advertise for it. And some of the pictures they use to advertise getting riskier and riskier to the point where I'm all like, I can't believe this can be here.
Mm-hmm.
Like this won't get you in trouble no. This used to get you in trouble. This won't get you in trouble no more. You know?
It all depends upon what you're actually showing in the picture and what you're not showing, and you know, one man's art is another man's porn.
Sure. And you know, I try to keep my stuff with toys and comics. I don't like a lot of that.
Long time no see, Melvor. Good to see you. The Melvor in the chat. Been here a while. He's one of my supporters. Thank you, Melvor, for being here, sir. And Sean says we're coming up on the 2-hour mark. You want to hit the 2-hour mark, or you want to go over the 2-hour mark, or you want to play the ducks? It's up to you.
Yeah, I'm having fun just talking to you. I guess when it's not fun anymore, we'll go away.
Well, since we're not live anyway, it doesn't matter, right?
Right. Yeah. Pull a fast one on me there, you tricky little. But
no, I told you I was going to just hit the live button and you'd never know it. But you should have been tipped off when it said on the air up there.
I don't. Do I look like someone who pays attention? You know what I mean? Especially when I'm home and I'm not at work and I don't have to. Like, I mean,
speaking of which, this is Memorial Day weekend.
I got Monday off. How about you?
I do too.
Yeah.
And I didn't even know it until about lunchtime today.
Same. And I'll tell you what, someone made me aware of this today too, and this is going to change your life, but I think you're going to agree with it. What is better than a day off?
The day before the day off.
The night before the day off.
Damn and right. I've got a meme on that one too. I've got a meme on that one.
At the night before the day off, and tomorrow is a night before the day off, and Sunday is a night before the day off. I am like overwhelmed with night before the day off sounding like the happy land.
I got a question for you, Joneser, since you brought that up. Since I won't be able to do a hangout on noon Sunday, how about a hangout Sunday afternoon?
I'll get back with you on that because I don't know if my wife's perpetrating some.
Oh yeah, well you know that always happens.
Let me talk to the boss first before I commit to anything, because my first commitment has got to be to her, and then from there we will figure it out. So put me down as a solid maybe.
A solid maybe. That's it. I'm writing it down right now.
Yeah,
solid maybe.
Absolutely maybe.
I'm looking at the stats over here on the second computer. We have 7 people watching us right now. Woo!
8. Just went up to 8.
We peaked out at 12. So, you know, maybe some more will come in. So sometimes we have people pop in on the 3rd hour.
Well, then it is Friday. We were talking about that earlier. It's Friday. You ain't got nothing better to do than watch 2 old guys talk about toys. You sure?
She ain't happy, you ain't happy. Well, mama ain't happy, ain't nobody happy, Jack.
Right. That you got that right. That is a.
I remember my own dear mother. Me and my brother will be playing in the house. He's not really my brother, but we grew up together to the point where we called our mom's mom and dad, and the whole bit.
Then he's your brother.
He's my brother. Yeah, I would help him move bodies, not just his furniture.
All right.
But anyway, so we're in there playing in the house, and as soon as my mother came storming through the house and grabbed the mop bucket and the mops and the brooms and shit, we hit the road, Jack. It's time to get out of the house because Mama's fixing to let out all of her frustrations. And if you're there, you're going to get the brunt of it.
Right.
I popped in, says Gojatron. Good deal, Gojatron. Glad to see you, brother.
Well, and then he was talking about, the wife, if you ain't happy, she ain't happy, or what have you. And then we were talking about meme harvesting. There was a meme I meant to send you, and I lost it. I'm sure I'll find it again. But it showed Cable and Deadpool talking to each other. Turn that down, buddy. And the conversation, it's right after Deadpool got married. And Cable's talking to him, so, Wade, I'm married now, are you? And he goes, yeah, it's great. She monopolizes all my time. She tells me what to do and makes all my decisions for me and never has sex. Awesome.
that reminds me of this is an oldie but a goodie. But you know, I had an old man tell me this right around the time that my wife and I were getting ready to get married. And he goes, "Son, let me tell you what you do." He said, "Go down and get you one of those big mason jars." He said, "And put it by the bedside. And for the first year that you and your wife are married, every time you have sex with your wife, put a penny in that jar. After that year, every time you and your wife have sex, take a penny out of the jar." He said, "You'll never get to the bottom of that jar."
Oh, that hits you right in the soul. Yeah. The other one was I like Jeff Foxworthy. You know, married life is a lot like ordering a chess set off the mail. You get one piece every 6 to 8 weeks.
Did you ever try to order one of those Civil War chess sets or whatever the fuck it was that they?
Well, I think that's what he's talking about. And yeah, I always wanted one, but I never order it. But I bet I could go on eBay and get one with fully completed and done now.
You probably could for a premium
You know what?
price.
I'm looking that up right now. What is that going to cost?
But you'd get like one piece a month, and they cost like
it was like every 6 to 8 weeks they'd send you the pawn, and they I got the picture. Oh no, you know, like I'm looking. I wanted one. Now I'm getting one. Lyric and I like to play chess.
I'm thinking of how many pieces there are in a chess set.
Ooh, they're more expensive than I thought.
Oh, I'm sure.
Yeah, at least
I think they were made out of pewter or platinum or some shit.
A couple $100 for some of the nicer ones. You probably get a cheapy looking one, $50. But I'm looking for the one I saw on TV that I wanted. I'm not seeing that yet. Ooh, that one might be the spendy one.
32. Thank you, Sean. So there's 32 pieces. So it takes 32 months to get the full set. And then add another one to that because I think the chessboard comes last.
Franklin Mint, there it is. Yep. $200.
Melville says that his mom ordered that chess set back in the day, and the pewter pieces are really nice. I know. I've seen the pictures of them. I've never seen one in reality.
Nope, I've got the one that I think is that he's talking about, or at least the one I remember seeing on TV that I wanted. $200 your best offer. That just might happen. I guess I can't do it now. I just think, but Jones is good at saving his pennies.
Yeah.
That is now on my wish list.
Oh my word! Now it's on your wish list. Good lord! I've looked at.
I showed a little discipline. I didn't push the buy it now button, Bill.
Okay.
You gotta be a little proud of me. You know, I bear down.
Sure.
I'm not as bad as my wife, where she's like that diva song. You know, I seen it, I saw it, I want it, I got it. It's true. Yeah, that's my wife right there. She sees something, she gets it. She don't even wait.
Speaking of seeing something and getting it, I don't know. I'm pretty sure you don't look back at the back chat on our page, but you need to, because I posted the link where you can go ahead and put your pre-order in for the hardcover copy of the 1982 Style Guide from DC Comics. Is coming out here in August. It's $90. And I put my pre-order in on one. Yes, sir, I did, because that is something special that we've been wanting for years and years and years. If Mike Fee is still with us, put the link to that from the chat there, that link to that site where you can order that style guide in the chat, so those of you who might want one can get one. Like I said, it's $90, but the damn thing is that thick, and it's hardcover, and it's got every page in it. Every page that was in that style guide, and that style guide was what was used for marketing purposes. So, because for the longest time, and this is what I found out in 13th Dimension. Thank you very much for posting that. You get some attribution here to something. That style guide for a long time, people thought that style guide was used for artists to look at to see how to draw the characters. It was not. For years and years and years, whenever they would do marketing, like for toys or lunch boxes or whatever, they would just grab art from the comics without doing anything for the artist who actually made that art.
And Goji just put the link up for it.
Thank you, Gojatron. The purpose of that style guide was not only to get the art in to be consistent, but also the artist who did the art, Jose Luis Garcia Lopez, and also I want to say George Perez. They got residuals from that, and that was something that Jeanette Kahn and Paul Levitz did back in the day when they took over DC Comics. And DC Comics.
When I close my eyes and think Batman, this is the one I see. So, yeah. Oh, I'm sorry. I was looking at the guide.
Oh, that guide is beautiful. All that art you've seen before, and you wondered where it came from there. It was used in the DC Comics role-playing game that came out years and years ago. I've got a copy of that. All of the source guides that came out for that had this art in there. Just about every character you can think of had at least a page on them. Lois Lane, Lana Lang, the Daily Planet staff, even the mock-ups of the Daily Planet paper are in there. And then you have the pictures of the superheroes from various angles and doing various things and in action poses.
I was just looking at it, and I had to say that that Batman that's in that guide, that I close my eyes and I think Batman, that's the one I see. It's that one.
That was probably drawn by Jose Luis Garcia Lopez.
Yeah, to me it looks like an Aparo, but that's probably what he was going for, was his version of Aparo's Batman.
Jim Aparo did a great Batman in the day, and for the longest time that was my favorite until Norm Brayfogle came along and took over that spot for me. But the problem with Norm was, as Norm got more and more control over the character, he was given kind of carte blanche to do whatever he wanted to, and he kind of went crazy with it. But Jose Luis Garcia Lopez also drew the greatest crossover ever, Batman versus the Incredible Hulk, with the biggest BS ending ever. Okay, guys.
Did. Come on, Batman takes out the Hulk with a sidekick.
No. He took out the Hulk by boxing his ears, dude. Do you remember that part?
Come on.
He sure did.
I remember reading the Hulk, and the Hulk was talking about like the rockets that would come off planes that sting.
You got to think multi-dimensionally there, Joneser. This isn't the 616 universe. This is the crossover universe. I forget which number that one is.
Hulk should have sneezed and killed Batman. Are you kidding me? That was BS.
I like the one where he fought Superman, and Superman got beat around for a little while. Finally, Superman just
that one I liked.
Yeah,
because
Superman
that's how I
just stood there and just let him beat himself until he just got tired and turned back into Banner.
And then Superman has a level Hulk don't have. That made sense to me. I can go with that. When they had Spider-Man knocking around Superman, I called bullcrap.
Yes, Dick Giordano did do a lot of work on that merchandise art. He surely did. But the purpose of that was so that those guys could get the money that nobody else was getting before that.
Right. But I'm sorry. I like that crossover with Batman and the Hulk, except like when I watched the way Batman wins that, I'm like, even as a kid, I was like, nope.
Well, they had to do something.
Not buying that. Nope.
I get it, but they had to do something in order to.
That was like Muhammad Ali punching Superman. I see two broken wrists.
Well, they fought under a red sun. They fought under a red sun.
Well, now and then he should have wiped Superman out.
He did. He did. You haven't seen that?
I haven't read that. I've only seen little pictures of it. I have read the Batman Hulk one though, and even as a kid I had a reprint.
Muhammad Ali beat Superman's ass.
Well, they should have. If Superman's under a red sun, then he can't. He's just anybody else. You know.
Well, I don't know. I'm hearing a little echo. Turn your volume down.
Oh, sure. I probably tried to turn it up a little when Angie Baby came on.
Yeah. All right. Test.
Hello.
Test. Better.
Hello.
Yeah. All right. So, where was I?
You were in your basement.
No, I'm trying to figure out where I was mentally just a minute ago. I was talking about something. I know we were talking about Superman and
the Batman Superman crossover, Muhammad Ali, Hulk and Batman.
Must have been Muhammad Ali, but I've lost my train of thought because this is a highly produced and very professional show here.
Sure.
Scripted, everything.
No, there were some other crossovers that I liked with mixed results. Some of them I agreed with and liked very much, and then other ones I was like, "Are you kidding?"
Know where I was going. If I'm not mistaken, for the longest time, Superman relied too heavily upon his superpowers and did not know how to actually fight.
Makes sense to me.
And
I mean, dude, if your farts can like level mountains, why do you need to learn anything?
Right. I think they redressed that at some point in the comics in the Bronze Age, and Superman had to learn how to actually fight, and that helped him out even after he regained his superpower.
He learned Kryptonian karate.
I do remember that one, but I also think that I want to think in the back of my mind that he learned how to box from Muhammad Ali.
Probably. That would be the greatest guy to teach him. To teach him float like a butterfly, sting like a bee. Woo!
Something similar when it went on between Captain America and Iron Man in Marvel Comics, where Captain America told Iron Man, "Without that suit, what you got?"
Right. Billionaire, philanthropist, genius.
Oh yeah, they are coming out with omnibus with all those crossover issues from back in the day, the big oversized issues. I think there was Superman versus Spider-Man, and then there was a sequel to that, Superman and Spider-Man, which I had the sequel. I always wanted the first one and never got it.
I've seen some of that too. They had Spider-Man slapping Superman around, and I was like, nope, I'm not buying that.
Oh, no. Mm-mm.
He'd bounce off maybe. Break his wrist trying to hit him.
If Superman can brace himself and take the hardest hits of the Hulk without moving.
Right.
No. Spider-Man ain't got
on
a chance.
Another level. Here's one that I seen, and I seen two versions of it. They had Wolverine stab Superman in the chest with the claws. Now, in one picture, the claws went in, and he got him. And on the other picture, the claws were mangled, bent mess, and Superman was just standing there. Now, I call BS to both pictures. I don't think that would happen either way. What I think would happen is he's not going to be strong enough to swing for those claws to bend. He's just going to bounce off. It's going to tink like he hit a,
I know adamantium. I know adamantium is supposed to be the strongest metal. It's fictional metal, the strongest metal ever. But I would think
Hulk.
I would think that if you hit Superman with adamantium, even adamantium claws, I know steel claws, with the strength of Wolverine, it would shatter them.
Or he'd bounce. I think he'd bounce off, ting, and just go flying. I don't think he could swing strong enough to bend it because adamantium's unbreakable, unbendable, right? And then Superman's Man of Steel, he's not breakable or bendable either. I think it'd just be tink. But if they do go in, we got a problem.
Yeah, the only way that you could actually harm Superman at his full strength level would be with magic.
Right, or be on his level. They had like Brainiac knock him around, or Doomsday, or Darkseid, or somebody. What was the guy from War World? Mongol knock him around a little.
Mongol knocked around the Burn Superman, the post-crisis Superman, but I don't know about pre-crisis at full strength. I can move the planet or I can move the moon in front of the sun without.
Well, I mean, Mongol ultimately would lose, but I mean, he could still slap him around.
The best issue with Mongol in it has got to be for the man who has everything.
Oh, that's the quintessential story where he's got the thing on his chest and yeah. Well, I even love the line at the end when it's on Mongol and he's happy and he's smiling, and then what do you think he sees? And whatever it is, it's too good for him.
And of course, here we go with the submariner there. I always call that Metalo, but I think it's supposed to be Metallo. But okay, so Metalo has a kryptonite heart, and that's why he's able to hurt Superman. But which Metalo do you like better? Do you like the gold-plated robot-looking, not robot, but kind of human-y looking Metalo, or do you like the Terminator-looking Metalo?
My first introduction to him was from the Superman animated series in the 90s. So I liked the one with the half face, and then later they had the whole face off. But that I loved that story too. But the problem with that villain for me is, so every time he shows up, Superman's just screwed.
Now Superman has to figure out how to fight him in a different way.
Right. Or even like a Parasite. Now he shows up and Superman can't let him touch him.
Terminator all day. Okay, Sean. Well, the thing is, I would hope that if this superpowers line by Todd McFarlane continues, that we will see some more Superman villains like Metalo or what have you. I want to see him do General Zod.
I'd like to see Lex Luthor and Joker. I mean, what are we doing without? We have a superpowers line and there's no Lex Luthor. There's no Joker.
We have Batman Who Lives. The Guilt Batman.
Nobody gives a crap about that. How do you have Batman and not have Joker? How do you have Superman and not have Lex Luthor? I don't understand.
I would start to say because he doesn't want to redo what's already been done, but then he did that with Hal Jordan. That's basically the same thing.
You got to go with what. Name me a fan that doesn't want to see Lex Luthor.
I want to see Lex Luthor in his Bronze Age.
What figure would sell better than Batman? Joker.
I want to see Lex Luthor in his Bronze Age purple and green Legion of Doom outfit.
Yeah, I think that's what the one most of us want. Yeah, we want that one.
As far as Joker goes, let's think about that for a minute. All right, first of all, you got to think like Toddy Mack. Yep, turn it down some. And I'm probably talking too loud, but think like Toddy Mack. Think like Toddy Mack for a minute. How could you do a Joker that is visually says I'm the Joker without just repeating what's already been done in the original Vintage Superpowers line?
Oh, I don't know. The Joker's been done so many different ways and so many. I mean, you could have a Mark Hamill-esque looking animated series looking Joker. You could do a classic Bronze Age Joker. You could do a modern Joker. You could do a Jack Nicholson looking Joker. You could do the Joker from the old Superpowers line to make him look like that. I mean, you could do whatever you wanted with him.
The vehicles are definitely the highlight of the line. I agree with Melvor on that one, and he got fingers
and they're
crossed
the easier,
for a playset.
And they're the easier pieces to find. I've never had a problem finding one of the vehicles in retail at Walmart. I've seen every one of them there. I've never.
I don't see shit in my Walmart anymore. They took away the whole planogram.
It's the figures. If you're looking for a figure other than Green Lantern and Nightwing and Deathstroke and Wonder Woman, I can't find any of those.
Go to GameStop.
My GameStop don't have much toys.
Yeah, mine don't either. Figuratively speaking is with us. Good to see you, John. Glad you could join us tonight. No, we're not doing a late show. We're doing this instead, which you missed all the fun part of it. You need to watch the beginning of it when nobody knew that we even knew that we were live.
Right.
But back to Melvor here. As far as play sets go, it is my thought that if Toddy Mack does a play set for the Superpowers line, it will not be like the Justice League play set from the Vintage line. It will be more like the play sets that we've seen for the Batman 66 line, where it's mainly a three-sided diorama with maybe some furniture in it. Oh yeah, Johnny, it was right after your live stream went off the air. Joneser and I got together, and I told Joneser that I was just going to hit the live button, and he wouldn't know it. And I set it up to look like we were in Video Ninja, and then I got him talking, and then I just hit the live button. He didn't know it, and we just kept on talking. And then we ignored the chat, sort of, but we kind of I would read it, and then I would address something that they said in such a way that they didn't know I was addressing it. It looked like it was a coinky dink.
Yeah, no, I caught on somewhere around there, you know, that, oh, here we are, you know.
And Mix's Pitlick, yes, I would like to see them do Mix's Pitlick.
I'm sure I spelled that wrong, but is
You
there
did.
a right way
It's Mix's Pitlick or Mix's Pitlick. It depends upon whether you're talking Golden Age or Silver Age, because it's pronounced different for each one.
Tip to them.
Yeah, we did it. We did it.
Now I made him go away.
You made who go away?
Mix his Spitlick. If you say his name backwards, he goes away, right?
Yep,
Kill Tip to Zim. Now he's gone.
They always pronounce Mix's Pitlick wrong on Super Friends. They always call him Mixelplick.
Say lyric backwards.
Kill. How do I say lyric backwards? Cairo.
Made him go away. Oh,
that was we watched. That was his favorite episode. We watched the Superman the animated series. What a perfect casting! They got Gilbert Godfrey to be the voice of Mixie Spitlick, and that was just magic in a bottle. Because who could be more irritating than Gilbert Godfrey? And that's exactly what that character embodied in that. And Lyric thought it was great because it's like, here you got this funny little man that can just make a clown out of Superman and everybody around him anytime he wants and do anything he wants. And then, of course, that was written so well because Superman kept easily getting the better of him throughout most of it. and then listening to that was a great casting, a great performance, and probably one of the better representations on film, animated, or what have you, of that character. You know, I don't think they've done him that good in anything else.
No, they haven't. And the Superman animated series, they made him look like he did in the Golden Age as well.
Right, yeah, they're a little more funny, a little more cartoony. But yeah, it's just like, I've always been irritated by that Gilbert Godfrey voice, and it was just so perfect. He's having this fucking bug. Yeah. Hey there, Super Jake. You know, and he's like, oh, I ain't nowhere bound.
Nowhere bound. Good to see you, man. So, yo, Weird, Fantastic, and Jones are fire. Good to see you, man.
Right. Yeah, Nowhere Bound. If you guys follow him on Instagram, he picks up some really kick-ass comic books. I met him at a comic convention earlier this year, and him and his brother, we even traded some books or bought some books from each other, which was really cool too. In fact, I got a really cool graded first appearance of the Super Scroll, my Fantastic Four bit, and I think he picked up that Steve Ditko cover of Spider-Man lifting the thing up from me. So very, very cool, very good guy. And yeah, if you guys follow him on Instagram, I think he's got a YouTube also where he shows comics. So I'm gonna throw his link up if you don't mind.
Oh, we'll go right ahead. I wish you would. And if you're not subscribed there, Nowhere Bound, please do subscribe because we're on that road to getting that 1K so we can get fully monetized. We're kind of what I call half monetized right now. We can take.
I'm pretty sure he's subbed up to you, Bill. I'm pretty sure.
Good.
He's been on a couple times with us.
The legendary 1000K play button.
Yep, he'll get there. In fact, Bill and I don't know if you mind me telling this on air, but we were joking around counting subscribers, and Bill was at I think it 941, and I was at 441, and so I was like, well, I'll race you. So he's racing to 1,000. I'm racing to 500. So you heard it here first, folks. It's a race. If Bill gets to 1,000 first, he wins. If I get to 500 first, I win.
And what we win is just the
10 tiddlywinks are on the line here. 10 tiddlywinks.
I mean, what we win is bragging rights and probably nothing else.
Nah, well, it is fun thing to do. And what's funny though is because I never pay attention to my subscriber count, and a lot of times when we're talking off air, Bill will would say, "Oh, I gained 3. Oh, I lost 2. Oh, I gained 4. Oh, I lost 1." Or whatever. He watches it because when he checks his analytics, it's one of the first things he sees. But I never look at mine. But since I joked around with you saying that, I'm checking it more.
Every time you open the studio, that's the first thing you see is your subscriber
I never
count.
go in there. I never go in there, and I never put up any videos. You're probably in the safest competition you've ever been in your life. So I think I put out like one thing
for you,
in 4 months.
Joneser. Do you have the studio app on your phone?
I do. I never go in there.
Yeah, I've caught myself looking at it at work.
But yeah, I never watch it. I never pay attention to it because I feel like wet paint don't dry if you watch it, and so that's kind of how I roll with it. I don't even look at that no more.
My grandmother Nanny always said, "A watch pot never boils."
Right. Yeah, I played Tiddlywinks in 30 years. I don't even know what a Tiddlywink is. I thought it was
It's a little game you play with these little discs. I forget how it plays.
Oh, well, I don't want to bet you that then. I don't know. I thought it was an imaginary currency. Yeah, because people all bet you 10 Tiddlywinks.
I think I have a Tiddlywink set over there in the game closet that I've never played.
I wouldn't even know where to find one or what. Oh, now I got to look on eBay. What
Walmart over there where they have the game section. I'm sure there's.
They got Tiddlywinks at Walmart.
Yeah, they got Tiddlywinks at Walmart.
Well, I just bet you 10 Tiddlywinks. Now I want to know how much they cost.
It's Pogs before Pogs. That's correct. It's back, but they're a little smaller than Pogs.
That's what they look like. Okay, I can get a set of Tiddlywinks for $10. It has, what are these little discs? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11.
And little different colored discs.
Okay, they're not even $1 a piece. So, all right, wasn't as rich a bet as I was thinking it could have been.
Hey, look, you just got a subscriber.
Oh, hey, how about that? I'm well on my way now. Now
I'll subscribe to you, Joneser, if I wasn't already. Sorry, I'm no help with the race.
It's not. You know what? It's just something for me and Bill to talk about when we talk about subscribers, because we watch this stuff and YouTube giveth, YouTube taketh away. They're probably either racing bots or people are coming and going, or it just is what it is. But it's a funny thing because you talk to other people who create content or other people that do channels, and it is something that you pay attention to. You watch your view count, you watch your likes, you watch your subscribers, and you watch your watch hours. And it was something that I did a lot when I first started out that I do none of now.
Well, and towards the middle part of your race to 500, you begin to quit watching it.
Right.
Bill is cheating. I need a link for Joneser.
Oh, I'm putting it up.
Yeah, Joneser has the power there. He'll put up that link.
I'm putting it up. You can subscribe to me, and then I'll have 443, and then tomorrow I'll have 438. That's what YouTube does. YouTube giveth, YouTube taketh away.
There you go. Subscribe to Joneser, guys.
But you do get there. It's a slow climb. I quite honestly, I think it took me longer to get 100 than it did to get the 300 after that.
What's more important, Joneser, subscriber count or view hours?
I would say view hours or even views. There was the fellow we had on here before, and he had all the subscribers. I think he has 1,000+ subscribers, but he didn't have the watch hours, and he also didn't have the views. He was complaining about the views. He said he put a video out and he barely get 10 people to watch it. And that was one thing where I always felt pretty fortunate is in a lot of my videos, I mean, some of them, there'd be like 10, 27 views, but a lot of them I had 100+, or, even a few of them over 1,000 views, and I think to me, you can put any content and all the content out there you want, but if no one's actually watching it, then what good is it? And
the dreaded algorithm striketh again. It's funny how that works. A lot of people tell you that they know how it works, but I don't know if they really do or not.
I don't think so. I've heard people
the
tell
problem
me.
is once you figure it out, and they know you figured it out, they change it again.
Well, here's the thing. I've had people tell me you can't do video games because you're a toy guy. And it's like, well, I started out a comic book guy. And I still say that almost. Like, hey, what's up? It's Jones, your favorite comic book guy. And even then I talk about toys and don't talk about comic books. And they tell you got to do it this way. You got to do it that way. And I've watched you and I've watched me completely ignore all those rules. And maybe we're building it a little slower. But I think the difference being you're building it with the right subscribers, because the people that are subscribing are actually watching instead of like you. There's plenty of people, and I'm not going to name any of them or dox any of them. There's plenty of people, both of us know, where they've got 1,000+ subscribers and then no watch hours and barely any views. They put out a video and there's like less than 10 views. Mm-hmm. And he's got 1,000 subscribers. Okay, if you got 1,000 subscribers and none of them are watching you, what good are they?
Well, and I think I got into that one time when we were ranting over here. It's okay to be friends with other content creators. There's nothing wrong with that. It's okay to have content creators come and guest on your show. It's okay to go guest on their shows. But here's the thing. Other content creators are not going to be the ones that give you the watch hours that you need. And like as far as subscribers go, they're a drop in the bucket compared to the subscribers that you need to get, which is the normies, the guys that are just watching YouTube to be like watching TV. They don't have a channel. They don't care about having a channel.
Put Goji's comment up if you can, because he just like hit me in the soul. Yes. Because when I first started doing YouTube, the only reason I did a channel and made content is because I like talking about this stuff and I'm passionate about this stuff and I care about this stuff and I'm just a fan of it. And my wife was sick to death of hearing me talk about it or listening to it. And I needed to find people that wanted to hear it and wanted to tell me their nerdy He-Man stories back. And I just wanted to have goofy friends that I could talk about my goofy stuff with. And if I got a few subscribers, cool. And if I, you know what I mean? But it didn't matter. I didn't care. And I still don't care. Like if I get monetized, great. If I don't, that's great too. You know what I mean? I win because I found my people, you know, that want to talk geek with me.
When I first started doing this, I was just doing it for fun, and I still am. And if I lost all of my subscribers tomorrow, or my subscriber count dipped so low that it'd be like starting all over again, I would still be doing what I'm doing. It gives you a little incentive when you have something to shoot for.
Well, I mean, as content creators, we see this stuff. We're looking at it. We're looking for it. I was, like I said, I was looking a lot harder when I first started than I do now. But you do hope that people want to watch you or hear what you're saying or care about what you care about. But, you know, there's also, have you ever heard of these people called trolls, Bill?
Oh, yes. Sometimes I join the troll crowd. I've been on the troll.
Sometimes it's fun to throw a little shit.
Oh, here comes a troll back behind you right now.
Oh, big old troll. I raised that troll, you know. But what's fun though is that you know, I'm not going to name this guy either, but there's a guy that we all watch and we all love. He had a troll come into his chat and said something real derogatory or mean to him while he's in the middle of his live. And he ends up even putting their comment on the screen. And then he doesn't read it because he realizes, oh, this guy's not being nice to me. And he just puts it back down and just goes, thanks for commenting. And then just moves right back on with his show like it didn't happen. And I was just like, oh, my God, that is so awesome. And I wish I could have done that because I'm trying to put myself in that same spot. If I was live and put on the spot and somebody did that to me, I'd be like, what? Well, that's you, man. And I probably would have reacted differently. But I just thought that was so fun. I wish I could harness that energy. Just like, you know what? You nerd. I don't think you're cool. And your channel sucks. And you're lame. And he just goes, oh, thanks for commenting.
Thumbs up or thumbs down. It don't matter because it's all interaction.
Oh, that's great.
All publicity is good publicity. Subscriber numbers don't mean squat except for monetization, views, and likes are always a fraction of that number. That's right.
Right.
And Goji is correct. Yes, I'm concerned about my subscriber count for one reason, because once it reaches 1,000 and over, it's got to be a little over because you always lose 2 or 3.
Right.
But once it gets there, I can go ahead and reapply and get the ad revenue monetization. Once that goes, it doesn't matter. The number's a vanity number at that point on. You're looking at view counts and impressions at that point.
Well, and you're looking at a milestone, so you're less than 60 away from a milestone. Which I also, that's why I threw that little gentleman's bet out there, because I'm also looking at a milestone. I feel like 500 is a milestone.
It is.
You know, you get that's the next level. You know, and so like, and what's funny about it though is like, I never thought I'd get 100. Like my first year, I think I had less than 15, and I did do videos, and I thought I was doing good because I'd have 15 subscribers, and sometimes I'd get 20 views. And I was like, oh, cool. I got more people watching than are subscribed. That's awesome. I'm a success. I remember being happy about that.
Was that back when you were opening comic books?
Yeah, I think I did mystery boxes. I might have done a couple Origins figures, or I might have talked about a vintage He-Man. I can't. Some of those videos are painful to watch for me, but the passion's there. And I'm telling, so I'm not quite figured the camera out, and I'm maybe a little gun shy, or I can't remember. The audio's bad, the video's bad. I think I did it all on my cell phone and a freaking stick holding it up, and but you still get me talking He-Man and about what I like, and I'm being real, and I know. But what's funny is I can't watch them back now because I feel like, oh, here's a second-rate Pixel Dan. Oh, look, I almost even say it. Hey, it's comparison time.
It's comparison time.
The vintage one next to the Origins one, because I've seen Pixel Dan do this, and so I want to do this too. And
or me, I'm sitting here going, why, hello there. I'm Bill, and this is Weird Fantastic Toy Adventures, and today we're going to look at this, whatever it is that I'm wanting to show today, because I was trying to have this voice for, and forget it, man, just be yourself.
Yeah, I learned that early on too, because at first I think there was some nerves. My wife recorded one of the first ones, and I'm opening a mystery box, and I'm looking at her, and I'm like, oh, hello, I got comics. And I think I was watching this guy. I think his name was Franchise Kicks, and there was another guy, Wink Ink, and they were doing. This was during the pandemic, and there was everybody was buying or whatever you want to call it.
Lockdown.
Well, it was
learn the code words for YouTube so that I don't get shadow banned, buddy.
Oh, or the 2020s or whatever you want to call the thing. I mean, that's what's funny too. Is it's like, what are they trying to pretend like it didn't happen? But anywho, that everybody was doing this at that time, and the comic mystery boxes were a thing,
Uh-oh. His camera went bye-bye. He'll be back in a second, guys. Just give me a second to. He probably had to answer the phone, and he also warned me that he would probably have to leave and go get his son from work or some shit.
Hello.
So, are you still there, Jones? No, he's not there. Okay. So he's probably either on the phone or he's got to leave for a minute and come back. So in the meantime, let me see. Sean said, trolls only get satisfaction when you let it affect you. Letting it roll off your shoulders is the best way to piss them off. Absolutely. And I have a set of music and fun that I'm going to go ahead and play for you guys. It's sea shanty time. So let's go to the high seas and let's have some fun, guys.
Ready? 2, 3. What do we do with a drunken sailor? What do we do with a drunken sailor? What do we do with a drunken sailor? Early in the morning. Way, hey, up she rises. Way, hey, up she rises. Way, hey, up she rises. Early in the morning. Way, hey, up she rises. Way, hey, up she rises. Way, hey, up she rises. Early in the morning. she rises, way hey, and up she rises early in the morning. Give him a dose of salt and water, give him a dose of salt and water, give him a dose of salt and water early in the morning. Way hey, oh, way hey, oh, way hey, oh, early in the morning.
That's what we do with the drunken sailor. That's what we do with the drunken sailor. That's what we do with the drunken sailor early in the morning.
Way up she rises, way up she rises, way up she rises early in the morning. Way up she rises, way up she rises, way up she rises early in the morning. Way up she rises, way up she rises, way up she rises early in the morning. There once was a ship that put to sea, and the name of the ship was the Billy O.T. The winds blew up her bow, dip down, or below my bully boys blow. Soon may the wellerman come to bring us sugar and tea and rum. One day when the tonguing is done, we'll take our leave and go. She'd not been 2 weeks from shore when down on her a right whale bore. The captain called all hands and swore he'd take that whale in tow. Soon may the wellerman come to bring us sugar and tea and rum. One day when the tonguing is done, we'll take our leave and go. Before the boat had hit the water, the whale's tail came up and caught her. All hands to the side, harpooned and fought her when she dived down low. Soon may the wellerman come to bring us sugar and tea and rum. One day when the tonguing is done, we'll take our leave and go. No line was cut, no whale was freed. The captain's mind was not of greed, and he belonged to the whaleman's creed. She took that ship in tow. Soon may the wellerman come to bring us sugar and tea and rum. One day when the tonguing is done, we'll take our leave and go. For 40 days or even more, the line went slack, then tight once more. All boats were lost, there were only 4, but still that whale did go. Soon may the wellerman come to bring us sugar and tea and rum. One day when the tonguing is done, we'll take our leave and go. As far as I've heard, the fight's still on, the line's not cut and the whale's not gone. The wellerman makes his regular call to encourage the captain, crew, and all. Soon may the wellerman come to bring us sugar and tea and rum. One day when the tonguing is done, we'll take our leave and go. Soon may the wellerman come to bring us sugar and tea and rum. One day when the tonguing is done, we'll take our leave and go.
And we are back, and I'm seeing Joneser's icon there. And soon may the kitty man come with lots of treats and tasty noms. Stick around, Sean. I'm going to play you some comedy later on in the show before we leave tonight. What am I hearing in the background, Joneser? I'm hearing
I have no idea.
Rustling in the background. I'm thinking that would be...
No, might be some kids moving around. Shouldn't be anything now.
It's better now, although I'm seeing a little lag on your part, but I think you'll catch up here in a second. All right, so we played some sea shanties there while your camera went away for a minute. I don't know what happened there.
I just had to talk to my son. He's coming in. Parked the car. Wanted to make sure he wasn't parking me in.
Okay. All right. I'm chilling as long as you're here, bud, says Sean. Good deal, man. Glad you're here with us.
Well, hold on, I'm on right now.
Sure. Talk to your son. We're not live or anything.
No, but we got him a new one because that one wasn't charging batteries.
Because the batteries worked on the same.
All right. Anyway, I've moved on. We bought a new one, so he's working that one.
I'm trying to hear what his son's saying, but I can't hear what he's...
We got him some rechargeable batteries for his Xbox because he was eating through batteries like a son of a gun. So
This guy.
we got him a bunch of rechargeables.
Nice, dropping them in the floor. Good deal, man.
I caught it. But we got him some rechargeables, and then ones he can have hooked up, and then ones he can have in the controller, and then he can switch them out as they need to. That way he's not eating up all my batteries. Little battery thief.
I haven't needed batteries in forever.
This is the normal time that we hit the air on a Friday, and
Right.
I'm hitting that little lag problem that we get at the beginning of the night. I think it's my cable system is getting overrun with people watching freaking TV and crap right now.
It's peak hours. When you were on earlier at 8 or 9 or whatever, people were out at restaurants or bars or out gallivanting. Now they've all got home. What are they doing? They're putting on their entertainment.
A retro purist, okay.
Oh yeah, I had the Nintendo. The controller was plugged into the box.
I didn't have none of that. I bought one for my daughter, I think, but I've never.
You missed the Nintendo generation. You didn't have an Atari?
I would poll. My friend across the street, he had one, and we would play that one over there. I remember that, but he had an Intellivision too, and they also bought the speech synthesizer for it, so we could play B-17 Bomber.
Nice. I used to like playing Combat on the Atari or Outlaw. You know. Yeah.
And I think you can buy like a little Atari system that has all those games built into it. I saw it at like Walgreens one time.
We had one. It was okay. It was missing some of the ones that you really wanted for it. Like it didn't have Pac-Man in it. It didn't have I don't remember if it had Space Invaders or not. Is it really Atari without Space Invaders? And you know what I mean? It was missing some of the games that you wanted it to be in there. They have little Nintendos and little Genesises that you could get that have all that too. We've got them. Genesises. How do you say Genesis Pearl? Is it Genesi?
Yeah.
Genesis.
Genesises.
Genesis.
Genesee.
Jennifer.
Sega! That was how they used to do it on the commercial, right? Yeah, Sega!
Pretty solid.
You know what?
Okay.
I'm sorry?
Oh, but Sean says there's a new one that was pretty solid from what I hear.
Oh, okay. Well, Atari kind of had its own little charm because you weren't ever going to be like wowed by the graphics. And so there was a lot of like imagination that had to kind of come in when you're playing an Atari game. You know, you're like, oh, that little blob over there, that's the spaceship. And then that other blob over there, that's the alien. And, you know, and I remember when you get to like, you know, the 80s and 90s, you started to get some games where the graphics were pretty impressive. And you're like, oh, wow, look at this. This looks really good. And I wasn't prepared for where we are today, where like sometimes I walk by my boys playing games and I don't realize if they're playing a game or watching TV or watching a movie or a cartoon or something. It just looks so realistic. It isn't until I see the interface or the like map or the compass or something. I'm like, oh, well, that's a game he's playing.
Sean says Atari games are still better than most mobile games these days.
As far as replayability and fun, I would agree.
I seem to remember there was even a Dungeons and Dragons game. I can't remember if it was for Atari or for Intellivision.
There was one on the Sega Genesis that I liked playing, but I could never get very far. It was really hard. But I usually spent more time making my characters and trying to roll for their stats. And then I'd start, and then I'd go right to the little part where the Beastmen camp would come, and then all the Beastmen would kill me, and that would be the end of my game. And then I'd have to start
All right,
over.
I'm going to show my age here, and I don't know how old Sean is, but I'm going to show my age here. I remember text-based games.
Oh, yeah, I remember them. You arrived into a dark corridor. If you look to the left, there is a wall. And if you look to the right, there is a wall with a torch. Which way do you go?
Then I remember late at night, we would get into his dad's stash of text-based games, and we found Leisure Suit Larry in the Land of the Lounge Lizard.
Leisure Suit Larry was a hoot.
Of course, when I played it, I think I forgot to put a rubber on and got the herpes.
Then
when I started replaying the game again, I put the rubber on and I forgot to take it off, and I got put in jail for walking around with my thing out with the rubber on it.
No, that was a fun game, and that was another one. What was funny is it had a quiz before you could play the game to see if you were of age to play it. So you had to answer the quiz to get in to prove you were an adult.
Right.
But that was hilarious.
I never got into the multi-user dungeons either there, Sean. That I remember them. Those were the thing back in the day when PCs and the
That have all the
new.
X's and O's and the was that what that was?
Yeah, it to get in them was it was like getting on DollNet or something like that. It was kind of like getting on the what they call that IRC. It was kind of like getting onto that. You had to know what the server was, and you had to know how to get into the server, and you had to have a client on your computer to get into that server, and all of that stuff you had to download from various nefarious places like the Usenet or something like that.
About by the time I got into PC gaming, this was like when I was younger, my dad was more had the thing, and it was like the text-based games or the the early stages of that. And then by the time I got to play, it was more like Wolfenstein and Duke Nukem and Doom.
I played a little game of Wolfenstein and Doom back in the day, and what was the other one? Duke Nukem?
Duke Nukem was my guy. That was some fun stuff.
What about the Oregon Trail?
I remember
the Oregon Trail.
Well, Gojitron, you're only a few years older than I am. I did get off your lawn that day that you set me straight. Ace, I haven't seen you in a while. What's happening?
Ace.
What's up, y'all? And a little ghost. Cool. What you been up
Lyric
to, Ace? I haven't seen you in a while.
Lyric shouted one out. Do you remember the Oregon Trail?
Yes, you died of dysentery.
Yes. Bill died of typhoid. Yeah, it's terrible. Yeah. I'll tell you what was really bad is like I remember the first time I played that, I like named all the family members after like my real family members and friends, and when they died in the game, it was very devastating to me.
the Donner Party in the past up there all ate each other. You have died of dysentery.
I just lost my best friend and my little sister. I shouldn't have named these characters after people I knew.
Well, see, I remember that game, but I never actually played it. Did you end up in a situation like the Donner Party where you had to eat your family?
I don't remember. I don't think I ever got very far in that. I want to say every time everybody just dies and I lose, and like I don't think I've ever seen anything other than that scenario. I don't remember getting very far or being enthralled enough in it to play it too much more. Just be like, okay, it all went bad again.
It's possible to beat the game in like 4 minutes.
Well, yeah, if you know how.
Well,
kids nowadays can just Google the answer. See, when I was a kid, you had to actually figure it out.
Yes.
You had to actually play the thing.
One of my favorite games, and now in order to play it, you would have to probably have DOSBox X on your computer to do it, was the Star Trek game.
Oh, yeah, that was fun.
And I got the 25th anniversary edition that had the voices of the actual cast in it. And when I first started playing it, I never could get past. He was in front of the rock wall, and you could see the door behind it, but you couldn't get past the rock wall. Because every time I would play it, I'd either kill the red shirt, or I'd kill myself, or kill Spock, and it was fucked up.
Right.
And then I figured out, how to get into it a little bit, and then I found out that there are YouTube pages out there of playthroughs where you can watch an entire playthrough on it.
Right. You know what was funny when my teenage boys were a little younger, we dusted out the old Nintendo, and so we hooked up the old NES and we started to play it. And it was funny, is like when you put a game in and it didn't come right on, and my son was like, "Oh, it's broken." And I was like, "Oh no, you just got to move it around, blow on it, you got to play with it a little bit, and it'll come on." And then it finally come on, and then he's like, "Oh, okay." So then we played like Mario Brothers for a little while, and he's like, "Well, let's try one of these other games." So we pulled Mario out, and then we went to put the other game in, and then he's like, "Oh, it's broken." And I'm like, "No, it's not broken. You just got to play with it, wiggle it, beat on it, and blow on it, and you had to work for it." And I left him alone with it so he could play other games, and he had given up on it almost immediately. He was just like, "I can't change the game; it's broken." And I was like, "Buddy, this is just from a different time. You had to earn it a little bit. You had to work for it."
Perseverance wins out in the end.
I remember me and my friends like fighting with a game for like 15, 20 minutes to get like Super Mario 2 to work or something. And we really wanted to play that one. And what's funny to me is these kids nowadays, they're in such instant. He was like, "Well, Dad, nowadays when you put a game on, you just put it on and push power and it just works. This just doesn't do that."
Speaking of Trek, has anyone watched Strange New Worlds? No, I haven't. I don't have those streaming services anymore. I'm an original series purist, a fanatic. Wow. But this prequel is surprisingly awesome. Have you watched any of that?
To be honest with you, I don't think I've watched much since Next Generation.
Well, I got turned off with Star Trek Discovery, STD, as we like to call it, and that Picard fiasco, and so yeah, I missed it. My boyfriend and I are bummed about the casting choice for Kirk, though. That's really the only complaint. Okay, I don't know.
Yeah, you can't get Shatner, and you're not going to get a young Shatner. And if you didn't get the chap from the latest movies, then I guess you just got to live with who you got.
I did not like those new versions of Star Trek movies at all.
They weren't for me. Give me the old corny show where you almost see the string on the spaceship and have the
we were talking about that the other day. Plan 9 from Outer Space. You will kneel before our secret weapon, and it cuts to two pipe hands on strings hovering with.
But that's to me the old cheesy Star Trek. That was the stuff I liked, and then I liked Next Generation because that was the one that was on when I was a kid. So that was actually probably my first foray into Star Trek. Was actually I saw Picard and Riker first, and then I got into Kirk and Spock later because I talked to the older guys, and the older guys, that new Star Trek's a bunch of bullshit. You gotta watch the old one. And I think those guys didn't realize there was so much more Star Trek BS to come that they were going to look back and think the Next Generation looked pretty good.
After the first season of Star Trek Next Generation, it got really good.
Yes, it did.
There's an iteration. There's Riker with no beard and Riker with beard, and it's kind of like Mayberry or Andy Griffith's show, black and white versus color. You watch the black and white ones and you forget about the color ones. Forget about the ones with Riker with no beard and watch the ones with Riker with a beard. That's where the iteration lies.
A bearded Riker is my jam.
And Gojutron liked the Strange New Worlds quite a bit, so that says a lot right there, folks. So I will go with what Gojutron says. He is the man when it comes to obscure things.
Yeah, to be honest with you, I didn't watch much of was it Discovery. I didn't watch much of the Voyager or any of the other versions of it. I maybe seen an episode or two, but it didn't grab me.
back when all of the episodes of Voyager were on the Netflix, I not only watched all of Next Generation, I watched all of Deep Space Nine, which is very good, by the way.
Yeah, I didn't watch much of that.
And then, well, actually, the later seasons were even better than the beginning because it started getting into this weird stuff. But anyway, then I watched Voyager. Voyager's okay.
There was one I remember. I think it was in the early 2000s, maybe, and it had Scott Bakula when he was hot off of Quantum Leap. And I seen a few episodes of that, and I actually liked it, but I guess I didn't like it enough to stick with it because I didn't watch much more of it than the first few episodes.
They went to a wrong place with it, and then they tried to course correct, and it didn't. It was too little, too late.
Right. Yeah, I remember watching like the first 3 or 4 episodes, and I just didn't stick with it.
Yeah.
I was in my 20s then, so I had other priorities in Star Trek by then.
Yeah. There was a lot of time travel nonsense going on in that, and that's what kind of ruined it.
You turn it down a little, bub.
Original series is where I started, says Ace, and I'll have my heart, and it'll have my heart forever. Once a year or every other, I watch everything with the original crew canon in chronological order, shows, movies, and new ones, etc. Yeah, that's some good stuff right there. And Gojatron says Deep Space Nine is my favorite Trek series. It wasn't just black and white. They played in the gray area of the. Yes, they did. And one of the best episodes of that is the one with Gul Dukat in it, and him and I think that's what his name was, the Cardassian. And they he's like, yeah, sometimes you got to do the evil thing in order to get the correct outcome, and it doesn't feel good, does it?
I saw a funny meme or shirt where it said, what would happen if the red shirts fought the stormtroopers? Well, the red shirts would show up, the stormtroopers would open fire and miss, and the red shirt would die anyway.
Yeah. I could go on talking about the cultural importance of TOS literally for hours without stopping. It's more my religion than just a show. I can see that. I'm not as big a Star Trek fan as some. My sister was a bigger Star Trek fan than I. She could quote episodes. I'm not able to do that. But I have watched all of the 3 seasons of the original episode. I like the cartoon show. That was my first foray into Star Trek.
I was just gonna say the cartoon show wasn't bad. It was enjoyable for what it was. You know, I did enjoy that cartoon show. And yeah, original series, Next Generation, that was my jam. I didn't watch any Deep Space Nine. I probably should have. Just looking at
it was a slow burn. It really got good in the later seasons when everybody got settled into their parts and Worf joined them.
Okay.
I've been wearing my flip-flops for 2 hours.
But yeah, I enjoyed Star Trek enough to say I'm a fan, but I can't say I'm a diehard. Like a lot of the people that are really into this are, like he said, it's like a religion to them. You know what I mean? Like these people, I mean, it's almost the invention of the snarky sci-fi nerd. But actually, in episode 4, Shatner actually said, you know, and you get these fans, if you will, that are almost like you can't even deal with them or talk to them. So you're just like, okay, yeah, I saw it. Okay, I don't remember it like you do, but I did see it. You know,
I was always more of a Doctor Who fan back in the day, and I still am as far as it goes for the show up until about Peter Capaldi, and then after that it fell away. Even the last season of Capaldi wasn't that good. Something happened to Doctor Who. It just went completely bonkers, and apparently now it wasn't ever made for me. I've been told.
Yeah, this isn't your Doctor Who, and that's fine. You know what? Everything has its time, and then sometimes its time is up. And if that's what it is, and it's not for you, then I hope the people that it is for are supporting it and loving it like you used to. You know what I mean? And that's the thing. I'm a big comic book fan. I've read good comics. I've read bad comics. And I've read comics I never want to talk about or hear about or see again. And some of those ones that I hated is somebody's favorite.
I'm sure that there's somebody out there that liked watching the X-Men go to the prom.
Yeah, I didn't care for any of that. That ain't for me. You know, and like I said, there's something in it for everybody. You know, but maybe not. That's not your version. I like the X-Men when they're in the 70s. That's my favorite version of the X-Men. In the
Chris
80s,
Claremont.
maybe in the 90s, but then somewhere in the 90s you lose me, and it's probably because I became an adult and I stopped reading it.
Honor U83 has stuck with us. He says, not a Star Trek fan, more of a Star Wars fan. Tried to watch it. It just never caught my attention. I was a big Star Wars fan because I saw Star Wars in the movie theater back in 1978. And why wasn't it in 1977? Because it didn't make it to my little tiny movie theater until 1978. If you remember back in those days, the movie reels would go from movie theater to movie theater. They didn't have a wide release like they do now.
Yeah, went on a circuit or what have you, got passed around. I'd have to agree with Onryu in the fact that I'm definitely more a Star Wars fan than I am a Star Trek fan. But I was kind of like a Marvel DC war. You know, you'd be like, oh, are you a Marvel guy or are you a DC guy? I like both. I like Star Trek and I like Star Wars. I like Marvel and I like DC. You can like both. It's okay. But if you were to put a blam blam to my head and say Star Wars or Star Trek, I'd probably say Star Wars. If you were to put it into my head and say Marvel or DC, I'd probably say Marvel. You know, I mean, I like both.
Love sci-fi and really want to be able to engage with all my Star Wars friends and collect some of the figures. I have a few. I even have a few. I even have just about all my figures from the back in the day, the Kenner figures, the original ones. And I have a few of the Black Series of those figures, but not a whole lot because I cherry pick. Okay, I do too. We know why. All right. Just for John, we'll get into this. We talked about this the other day in private.
Oh, is this Viper Island thing?
Yes. All right.
Okay.
So you said something very profound because you were probably the only person that gets it from my point of view. You remember what you said?
I think I do because before I get into that, I do want to so the audience understands. Bill and I talked about this off camera, like I thought we were earlier, and because I don't like to get into anything controversial or what. Actually, that's not true. I love controversy, but anyway, how can I get to the heart of this? I didn't know what was going on. I'm not a G.I. Joe guy. I don't follow any of these people. Just like I talked to you before, I don't watch a lot of this stuff. Bill tells me, you know, oh, hey, this guy, that guy. And I go, who? A lot of times I don't know. So I didn't know this situation. And so he had to catch me up on who these people were, what happened, and what went on. And there's a lot of I stands with this guy, or this guy did this, or that guy did that. He used the copyright system to blast somebody's Instagram out of oblivion or whatever happened here. Stop me if I'm wrong on any of this. And I understood where Bill was coming from in this is in a hypothetical situation where somebody with ill intent could abuse the system in play to point it at someone that they don't like and blast their content or their channel out of existence over nothing or something or whatever. It's not that we don't care, or it's not that we don't want to get involved or anything like that, but it was just one of those things where it's just like this is a sad situation for how this is being done. It's kind of like when it happened to what's the other guy nobody liked, or the nutlick guy you always say.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, they got him right.
Mm-hmm.
And when that happened, there was a lot of, couldn't happen to a nicer guy. Oh, well, nobody liked him anyway. And I can't remember if he deserved it or didn't deserve it, or if there was fault on both sides. And quite honestly, I don't know any of the details of the current situation enough to comment on it either. I just don't like that you could use this system in play to do this. And it's the guilty until proven innocent way that it's handled, you know?
And
that's that was the way it hit.
What what I said was, I don't think anybody understands what my point of view is on this or why I say it the way I do. And then you profoundly said, Bill, I don't think that you really care as much about these two channels as much as you do about what happened itself. Because what if that happened to me? Or what if that happened to one of my close friends?
Right. And that's just it. You know, it's, I mean, at the end of the day, are we talking about toys and action figures and creative content? And isn't it supposed to be fun?
Right. But see,
why did it get so serious to where it's just like, oh, you did this and you did that, and I'm going to get you and you're going to get me, and then we're going to rally all our friends to get each other, and I'm going to go into this guy's comment section and start a war, and that's, are you serious?
Here's one of the points that I was trying to make on Grindhead's show, and I don't think even Grindhead got it. All right, it doesn't matter who it happens to. Even if it happens to somebody you really don't like, wrong is wrong, right is right.
We saw that. It had.
Yeah, wrong is wrong and right is right. And it doesn't matter what either one of them did. There's a better way to work that out than to sit there and try to copyright them out of existence. And,
Ace don't know what we're talking about. Welcome to the club, Ace. I didn't know either. In fact, I'm notorious for this. I think the first time I met Bill, there was some drama going on, and I was on live when it happened, and I just didn't know, and I didn't know.
Drama happens, and sometimes you can't avoid it. But let's move on, because most viewers do not care,
or don't know, or don't want to know. I mean, to me, if it's not fun and it doesn't move the show forward, what are we doing with it? You know,
I want to go back to something that Gojitron said and get into that. Star Wars and Star Trek are like apples and oranges. Star Wars is more of a fantasy adventure. True, what do they call it? Space opera. Star Trek is a traditional science fiction show with action mixed in, and I agree with that. Absolutely. And then of course there's Flash Gordon, which is called a planetary opera. A planetary opera is a little different from a space opera, because space operas occur in space and they go from planet to planet to planet in space. A planetary opera, you have a space hero who goes to a planet and his adventures occur on the planet. In Flash's case, that would be Planet Mongo.
Well, for me, the difference between Star Trek and Star Wars is I think in one of them you have taser guns and the other one has laser guns, and I think one has the photon torpedoes and the other has the proton torpedoes. You know, and these are big differences. You know,
and I can see what you wrote there, Dave, and I agree with you 100% there, sir. But moving on, let's talk about what Star Wars did that had never been done before, especially in the movies. All right, first of all, let's remember what George Lucas really wanted to do in the first place. He wanted to make a Flash Gordon movie. I'm getting some feedback off of you. I'm getting some feedback off you, Jones. I'm sorry.
Oh, he was a big fan.
Just kind of. Okay. Test.
Yo.
Can you hear that feedback?
No.
Okay, I can. And I don't know if you viewers can hear that or not. I think it's a noise gate issue, but anyway, I'll try to keep my voice level here. So what George Lucas wanted to do is make a Flash Gordon movie, but he couldn't, because guess who had the rights? Dino De Laurentiis.
Huh?
Dino De Laurentiis, the Italian movie maker who did Barbarella, and he also did.
Goji says they can hear it.
Can hear it? Okay, you can hear the feedback. Okay, is it still going on, Goji? It's because his mic's picking me up. That's what the deal is. Mute your mic for a minute.
That was what I was about to do.
All right, now can you hear it? I bet it went away. It's either he's got his sound up too high or he's got his mic in a bad position. But I don't think he's been moving his mic at all. It's his sound. It's a sound issue. Flash. Are
you saying you still hear it, or are you saying it went away?
I think what I asked them was, did it go away when you muted your mic? Right now, I don't hear it anymore. But anyway, going back, Dilo De Laurentiis had all the rights to Flash Gordon wrapped up, and Lucas couldn't make a Star Wars movie, so he had to make his own Star Wars-like movie. Flash Gordon-like movie. And so you will see elements from like the old movie serials, like The Crawl at the beginning. That matches the Flash Gordon movie serial. The different planets that had like a desert planet or a lush green forest planet. All that was Flash Gordon imagery put into a movie that wasn't Flash Gordon, that was like Flash Gordon. So that's the other thing that he did that was interesting and new, back but not too bad, because he turned his sound back on. It's still an issue with the mic picking me up from the speaker. I can hear Bill fine. It is my mic, says Joneser. Okay. And keeping on going, it went away when he muted the mic. Thank you, John. Yeah, that's what it is. It's just a sound issue. The only way to solve that entirely would be the earphones. But anyway, back to where I was going with that. If you watch sci-fi movies from the 70s, you see Logan's Run. Then you got like the quintessential 2001 Space Odyssey. Everything looks brand new. All the space scenes, all the spaceships, all the scenes inside of any kind of space stations or whatever, all looks like everything is brand new. Lucas, on the other hand, did something that no one had ever done before. He made a lived-in universe where everything looked old and used. The spaceships had damage on them and scorch marks on them, and it looked like a universe that had been around for a while, that it wasn't a brand new universe. And that was something that was brand new and refreshing at the time. I don't know how much of my monologue there that you caught there, Joneser, but that's what made Star Wars so special. He did have the rights for Dino De Laurentiis had the rights to a lot of things.
I have no idea who he even is.
Well, he's the guy that did the Flash Gordon movie that came out.
Okay, I did see that. The one with the Queen Flash.
Yeah. And
I've seen that.
Most of his movies had a camp element to them. You've seen Barbarella.
Yeah.
Okay, that's Dino De Laurentiis. What was the other one, Gojitron, that was based on a comic book? I want to say an Italian comic book. It was about a criminal, but he looked like a ninja whenever he would put his stuff on, and he had a race car or something. They parodied it.
76.
Yeah, he did the King Kong 76 remake. That's correct, Goji.
I actually liked that one.
Yeah, the King Kong remake wasn't that bad.
Yeah, I like that one.
You watch it again, it's dated.
I turned you way down, so I'm barely going to be able to hear you.
Okay, well, I'll have to speak up a little bit. I didn't realize David Lynch had the option to direct Return of the Jedi. That would have been bonkers. I saw Star Wars at the Roseville 4 in Minnesota opening week. One of only 32 theaters showing it in a few days. Blew me away, even though I was an 11-year-old. I recognized the influence of 2001. Diabolic. That's it. Diabolic. and they roasted it on Mystery Science Theater 3000. That's the version I've seen, is the one where they roasted it on Mystery Science Theater. But Diabolic is based upon a French comic book, and De Laurentiis did that as well, if I'm not mistaken. Correct me if I'm wrong, Gojitron. Silent Running was a big influence. Yes. But the difference between Star Wars and Flash Gordon, though, is Flash Gordon is a planetary romance, whereas Star Wars is a true space opera. There's a difference between planetary romance and space opera, and hard sci-fi. And Star Trek is more of hard sci-fi, although there's fantasy involved in that as well. Hard sci-fi is hard to read or watch unless it's your thing. And when I say hard sci-fi, I'm talking Asimov, the Foundation series, and stuff like that. If you've ever read any of that, Jones.
No, I'd have to say I wasn't the biggest sci-fi guy. Like, I watched Star Wars, I watched Star Trek, you know, but I didn't get into like Babylon 5 or V or any of it. There's a million of these different Battlestar Galactica, and you know, like, I didn't get into all of these things, and there's a bazillion of these different offshoots of that kind of thing. But to me, we were talking at another time here about like something can be good and not, or be so bad it's good, or be so good it's bad, or have a little cheese or a little, you know, a ha-ha in it, it'd still be enjoyable. And so I loved anything like that. Like, I remember those Captain Americas in it was the 70s, where you had the motorcycle helmet on, and you know, they had David Hasselhoff as Agent of S.H.I.E.L.D., Nick Fury, and so they had some that were Roger Corman's Fantastic Four, and in a lot of these, they weren't good, but they were good. If you know what I mean.
You know what my favorite scene from the 1970s Captain America TV movies were?
What's that?
He rides his motorcycle up to the castle or whatever that he's got to get in, and so he picks his motorcycle up and he pitches it up, and it lands perfectly on the kickstand up on the wall, and then he jumps up there to it.
Oh yeah. Well, did they do the like $1 Million Man thing with him when he did stuff like that? Did they have like a yeah? Oh yeah, that's right. They had the slide whistle. Yeah.
Hard sci-fi is definitely more my thing. Apparently, I haven't gotten into any of the modern shows, though. There's a magic in the original Star Trek that I haven't found anywhere anything else captures. Oh yeah, he had the van where the doors would open up and he would shoot out in the motorcycle.
Right. Yeah, and see, and in those days, you were just happy to get any kind of comic book content on the big screen because you weren't getting any. Nowadays, you almost get way too much, and you almost wish that it would go away for a little while, because how can you miss me if I don't go away? And but in those days, like, yeah, you were happy to get anything because you weren't getting it. You know, comic book movies were few and far between, and if any of them were any good, that was even harder to find. Now, for every Chris Reeves Superman, you know, there was a stinker of something else, you know, and or for every Bill Bixby Incredible Hulk, you know, we had something else where you're like, oh,
Doctor
well, I guess
Strange,
at least we
anybody?
got one.
The Doctor Strange 1970s TV movie.
I never saw that. I've seen still pictures and I've seen a couple clips, but I've never seen that.
To be honest with you, as bad as it was actually pretty faithful to what was going on in the comics at the time.
Well, it's like that Roger Corman Fantastic Four. As bad as it was, I still think it's the best Fantastic Four movie that's ever been put out there. And that one wasn't even put out there. I think it got an underground
thing.
release.
It was just made to secure rights. Sean says the Italian Red Skull kills my soul. What are you talking about there? Is he talking about that really, really bad Captain America movie?
I like that one. I like that 90s Captain America, like straight to home video.
It never was released to movie theaters, and they weren't even going to release it anywhere else. I think it finally got released to videotape.
Yeah, it was like it was straight to home video, straight to HBO. Like, it didn't go to theaters. I don't even think it was supposed to get released. I think Avi Arad was upset that it did. Or maybe I can't remember. That might be the Roger Corman Fantastic Four one that had that. But I actually liked that one. That movie, even though it's a bad movie, it's a good movie. It has some heart. It has some soul. It had a good song in the movie. There's some great moments between the actors. It had Ronnie Cox, and it had Ned Beatty. You know, it had its moments. I enjoyed it. Is you still here, Bill, or am I all alone? I'm all alone. There's no one here. What happened? Am I still live? Oh boy. Well, folks, I think Bill has disappeared. He's a wizard, so he'll probably come back. I'm not sure if I'm on the air yet or whatnot. I will entertain you in the best fashion that I know how. Bumpa, 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 da da, bump, da da da, bump, da da da, bow, bump, da da da, bump, da da da, doo, ba da ba da, dee, ba da ba doo. Lyric got a Star Wars shirt on there. Why don't you tell everybody in the internet land what's your favorite Star Wars movie, buddy?
The Empire Strikes Back.
Oh, that's my choice too. Excellent choice, sir. He likes the good old internet, old school Empire Strikes Back. He's back.
I had to go to the
Welcome
bathroom, man. I've been drinking all this right here, and it had to go away.
Oh, you're fine. I didn't realize that you gave me the floor. I sang, lyric danced. We did great.
Okay, I don't see anybody complaining. So, yeah, Bill died, Rip. No, I just had to go away for a minute, and I didn't want to interrupt Joneser because he was having such a wonderful dialogue there with the chat.
I didn't realize I should have kept going with my Captain America spiel, but yeah, I enjoyed that one. I know a lot of people hated it, and it does have its problems. It's got some cheese, it's got some corniness to it. The special effects didn't get the budget it deserved, but I think it was well done for the time and for what it was.
I remember the rubber ears on his mask. Fun fact: after Hulk, Captain America, Doctor Strange, Universal CBS also optioned the Human Torch for a TV movie because his rights were tied up. They had to create both Herbie the Robot and Firestar. That is correct.
I did not know that. I always thought the creation of Herbie the Robot was because parents were worried about children lighting themselves ablaze.
No, that's an urban legend that I have perpetrated on this show on purpose. Because I
did not know that.
But yeah, that's not true. It was because of the rights issues tied up.
Okay, I was always thought that even before I met you. I remember people saying that.
I thought Firestar was created. She was, but it was originally supposed to be the Human Torch because remember Spider-Man and the Human Torch were always bestest of friends.
Right, and then Iceman was the play off Fire and Ice, so that was the original idea.
They couldn't use the Human Torch because of that rights issue that Gojitron was talking about, and that's why they created Firestar for that.
That makes sense. And it diversified the cast up a little bit, too. Instead of 3 dudes, now you got 2 dudes and a lady.
Yeah.
So it probably was for the betterment of the show, you know?
Can't have a sausage party, right? We got to have a girl in there somewhere, and that's a good thing.
I don't know. I nothing wrong with a little sausage party.
Oh, dirt! No, you learn something sometimes. Stick around. Even though this show's a poorly produced and probably gutter, every once in a while a nugget shows up, especially when Gojitron's in because he knows all these fun facts.
Right. No, I love learning things like that, you know, and yeah, and also that the myth of the Human Torch being replaced by Robbie the Robot or Irby the robot or whatever the heck his name was. I always hated that thing. And again, that's I think I was an old man even when I was a little kid. Like, what? That's not supposed to be him. Where's the Human Torch? This is bullcrap. I don't want to watch this stupid cartoon. This is stupid. Why isn't he there? You know, like even back then, I couldn't handle it if they changed it. We fear change. We don't do change here.
Oh, here we go. Now, I did not know this. Fun fact number 2, Herbie was the last character that Jack Kirby created for Marvel.
Well, now I want to like Herbie.
Yeah, that's me. I'm stirring the pot with urban legends, and then I unstir the pot.
What? You know what I always say is whoever stirs the pot ought to lick the spoon.
You know what I say? Whoever spit that gum into the urinal needs to get it back out and put it back in their mouth.
Right. I'm glad I'm not alone in that Nowhere Bound, because I always feel like, yeah, even as a kid, I was like, oh no, don't do that. That's not the way it's supposed to be. You know? Yeah, what is this? Oh, they changed Spider-Man's costume. I don't like it. Space Ghost, yeah. I like
Space Ghost, yes. I was introduced to Space Ghost in the 1970s when the name of that it was an anthology where they had Space Ghost. They also had the family that lived on the planet with the
oh yeah, sure.
Shot the crap out of his. I know all the names.
Galaxy Trio, was it? Or
but and they even had one where it was Space Ace, and he flew around in space. He was a space cop, and it had the dog from the Jetsons in it, and a couple of other dogs. But that's where Space Stars. That's the name of the show. It was called Space Stars.
And a lot of us remember when they switched the format on that and they made Space Ghost like a late night talk show on Cartoon Network, and then it kind of got some new life from a new generation of fans who'd probably never seen it before, you know, and then they did it in a different way.
Brilliant.
Yeah, see, Ace saw it the way I saw it for the first time, so he got introduced in the way I was talking about.
And then I watched the original Space Ghost episodes, which are actually damn good.
So you never watched the Coast to Coast one day? You don't know what I'm
remember watching that. I thought that shit was hilarious.
Oh, okay.
But I did know that they were taking the piss out of Space Ghost in that it wasn't really Space Ghost in my opinion, but it was funny. Herculoids, there you go. Thank you, Gojatron. Mighty Mightor. I know who these are, but I didn't watch them. Shazam, I know what that is. The Galaxy Trio, now I know those. And Dino Boy, I never watched that. And of course Frankenstein Jr., I never watched that either. But I know what they are, Goji. But I love the Herculoids.
I used to like the Herculoids, and I also used to like the Thundar, the Barbarian.
My favorite Zorak quote from Coast to Coast was talking about animation costs. You know, Jack Kirby was involved with Thundar the Barbarian as well. You can see that dark side influence in that one character whose face would turn around.
Yeah.
Mike Fee still was just loving that Space Ghost. Oh my God, they've been streaming it on Cartoon Network YouTube since the anniversary a month ago, and I rewatched it, and it had me rolling Space Ghost Coast to Coast. That's some funny stuff. I like the non sequiturs that would happen in that. That's what made it so funny. And you have to have one of those minds in order to catch a non sequitur to be able to laugh at it.
Right.
Okay.
No, that was when Cartoon Network started doing some wild shows. They started doing like Harvey Birdman, Attorney at Law, and like
I like that.
It started getting a little weird.
Every time I move my arm, it costs Cartoon Network $43 on Twitch. 43 on Twitch. 86. Yeah. All right. I want to do this for Sean because I'm looking at the numbers. They go up and down. We've kept a pretty good consistent number of viewers especially in this third hour, which is interesting. Right. Let me play some of the comedy bits that we play late at night, and I try not to play during the day show, but have occasionally. For Sean, I think Sean will get a kick out of these. You know what I'm talking about.
I do.
We'll play a quick set of music, and then we'll come back and see what happens from there.
Oh shit.
And we're back. Yeah, pretty cool. It's like egg drop soup. That line is nasty. Yeah, it's that late night humor going on there.
Absolutely. That one's funny.
When we started the show, I don't know if you do this or not, Jonas, but when we first started the show, I had accidentally had the Ducks playing, and I remember I saw Radical Mom said the Ducks are playing. Is the show already over? And we reached over and cut them off real quick. So, but I started them right back up just now because guess what? I think it's about time to say goodbye. Yeah,
I would say
we've done an excellent show tonight. We've gone way over what we normally do. We started way early. We kept a good consistent group. We had a dip there towards the middle, but it came right back. So,
well, you know, we did what we were talking about doing. We just cold started a show in the middle of us just shooting the breeze, which is what we've talked about before. Sometimes the after show should be the show. You found a way to do it, you sly devil.
Yeah, I'm either crazy as hell, ignorant, or I'm a genius of some sort. I guess I don't know. But as we say here, we don't say goodbye. We say what they said in that movie, the Motu movie. Good journey, everybody.